Guys, recently there's been a bit of beef online between me and an ex-friend of mine, IMALLEXX, who's in the studio now.
Hello, let's fight.
So today we are going to be discussing everything that's gone on from that famous Alfie Days video.
Oh, yes.
To Alex's angry live stream about me. We're going to be talking about VidCon. We're going to talk about his lack of payment. We're going to be talking about me kicking him off the podcast. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a long video. So tune in and see what happens. Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Happy Hour. Now, this is a special episode because I don't have Stevie to my left, don't have Alex, Jordan, anyone to my right. Alex actually sat across me.
No,
right
I've
now.
moved. I've moved everyone.
It's the return of Alex into the Happy Hour studio.
In the guest seat now.
In the guest seat, yeah, I know. Is that relegation or?
I don't know. I suppose it really depends where you look at it.
Well,
I mean, I don't have to turn up every Monday now, so I can sleep in a lot more.
That's it.
So
And
maybe a promotion.
our views are down, so it could be a promotion. You could have got out while it was low. So obviously, I think it goes without saying that we've had, I don't like this word, but I think it'd be fair to say we've had a bit of beef online.
We're going to fight. It's a boxing match now.
But what I wanted to do, because we're adults and we're YouTubers that consistently criticise other people on the platform, and I mean, we've both in recent weeks have criticised each other, I thought the civil way to do this would be to get ourselves back together in a room and we can ask each other questions and we can address each point and stuff like that.
And I have to turn up because if I don't, or it goes like the Alpha Days podcast, I'll be called a bottle job again. So I have to be here. I have no choice.
But I also don't want people to, because we've spoken a little bit since, and we've rectified certain points.
We had a really long phone call, yeah.
Yeah, and we were speaking on WhatsApp the other night. So I don't. The criticisms that I had about you in the Alfie video are not relevant today. I think if we want to concede points, we concede points. If we want to, we can ask what we want, and no one's going to throw each other under the bus. I've also said to Alex that because of other people that are involved, I'm not going to sit here and say this podcast is going to be completely unedited, right?
Yeah, no, we're probably going to have to cut some stuff because we may accidentally mention other people and stuff, and we don't want to do that because we don't want to make it worse. We just want to make everything better.
That's it. But if you are hearing this podcast or you're listening to this podcast, then what I want you to know is myself and Alex we've both viewed the content and we've agreed that this can be up. I'm not going to cut anything out to make myself look better.
Yes, no, 100%. Yeah, we are going to go through and make sure that it is something that we're both happy with putting out because we want it to improve things, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we're sat here.
Yeah.
So we don't want to put something out that makes it worse.
No, exactly.
Although we may be a bit late. So
well, my goal for this was to I as a person, I actually genuinely like you, and I was gutted with how things went. Seems mental because obviously I mentioned you in a video, but I didn't know it was going to affect you as much as it did. So I want to leave here and hopefully be friends again. But
yes, that is the aim.
We will see, and we'll go across everything. So
we'll
Alex,
go straight to spoons.
That's it. But not for a cranberry pizza.
No, not again.
There's history in that. So Alex, what I want to ask you straight away is where. Obviously, the most recent thing to happen was the stream you made about me. What made you do that?
So really, I suppose it's a big thing for me because I mean I've mentioned it on podcasts before, and I'm pretty open about the fact that I don't have the best of luck with YouTubers as friends.
Mm-hmm.
And normally what I'd do, and it's happened quite a bit if I had like a falling out with somebody, is I'd normally be very, very quiet about it. But normally most people would always find out. And then I think it got to the point where I spoke to a lot of people about it because I don't just. It may seem like I just rush on and go, "Oh, I'm so angry."
Yeah.
No, I spoke to a lot of people about it over a few months. Like for people, it may seem so sudden. Because obviously the video goes up and I go, respond.
Yeah. Are you referring to us not doing a podcast together anymore? Is that the?
Yeah. So with everything that was going on with that, because like we will get onto that, I suppose, in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of that, I spoke to a lot of my friends, being like, "This happens all the time." Especially with podcasts, like it's happened to me before.
I remember you saying it to me.
And it's one of those things where I never want to go separate ways with anybody. It's never something that I enjoy doing, even if it honestly, if we'd have probably spoken about it, which is something that we didn't really do.
Yeah.
Then it probably would have been like, oh yeah, this makes sense, and we could have left it on good terms, but but both of us didn't do that,
Mhm.
and I hold my hands up to that as well.
Mm.
That it wasn't exactly, it didn't start off perfectly.
Mm.
I spoke to a lot of my friends and was like, "Oh, this stuff keeps happening.
Mhm.
What should I do?" And then you dropped the video, and people, literally people came to me and were like, because I literally said, I had like 3 or 4 of my friends come to me and be like, "You should say something," and I went, "I'm not going to do it." So this is one of my only rules, is that I will not do this.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty disappointed in myself, honestly, for even responding, because normally I know that I'm the type of person who will just try and fix stuff with people. But on this one, I was like, oh, this is just like getting worse and worse. And then when it becomes like a YouTube thing, nobody's ever done that before.
Mm.
Normally it's just like we'd fall out.
Mm.
And I know it wasn't about that,
Mm.
but obviously because of the way it was with me and you, I saw it as like, oh, this is like a personal dig.
Right.
And that was my point of view.
Yeah.
Until obviously we spoke about it afterwards, and
Mhm.
we didn't even. I suppose you didn't even realize how far it had technically gone.
Yeah.
But a lot of people basically like, you should say something, you should respond, make it short, make it quick, be done with it. Just so people don't fucking think you're a loser, basically.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, I think one of the reasons why people keep on doing this, Stu, is because of the fact that you just won't say anything.
Right.
And that's generally just because I like to have respect for, even if I'm not friends with people before, even the people who I have fallen out with on previous podcasts,
Mm.
I still have a lot of respect for what we did and stuff. And I loved doing this. So for me, I was like, this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah.
And even if that's how I feel, I don't want to put that out there, because I don't want it to be something that other people can like publicly pick into, because it shouldn't be. It should just be our thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you posted the video, I felt like, because I'm not just going to blame my friends for telling me, because
Mm.
at the end of the day, I literally sat there for 4 hours afterwards. I was like, do I
Of
not?
course,
And
yeah.
I was like, I will. I
Mm.
feel like I should, because hopefully something will change. And ironically, it got us to do this.
Yeah.
So I suppose, in a weird way, it worked. Well, I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something that I'd go for, but I feel like it did technically achieve what I was going for, which was, hey, I don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
Even though I probably didn't go about it in the best way possible, but
I kind of liked it. I thought it was good. I think if somebody we do this all year round. If somebody says something about you on the internet, why not respond? And you were clearly angry. You were visibly angry in that video, so you're well within your right to respond. We'll get onto this later on down the line, but there's some things in that I agree with. There's some things I don't agree with, and we'll talk about it. I think
yeah, it got very
in order,
personal.
yeah, of course, in order for this to work and for the followers to get where we're coming from, I assume if you listen to this podcast or if you're watching this video, you know that we did this podcast together.
My name's still on the microphone.
It
So
is,
I'm
it
coming
is.
back, guys, I
Yeah.
promise, until they replace him.
As I said, views are down, so we can't afford to change them.
Yeah, no, not yet.
But so obviously, we went our separate ways from this podcast, right? And this is where I think the problem started. Yeah?
Yes.
So we
Because
should.
everything was really good before then.
It was really good, and as I've said a few times to you and online, and you were integral to this podcast starting. You were great. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. The reason why I messaged you and the communication started to break down, and why we ended up so you think, and you can be completely honest, you think I pushed you out.
Well, I didn't originally.
Yeah.
But once again, after I saw a bunch of stuff, do you want me to just start with why I believe
course,
that? Because
yeah.
I want people to understand why I came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I mean, obviously, like, we're doing this again. I don't feel like it was that. I just feel like it was really poor communication at this point, which is pretty much what we're going to boil everything down to. So, spoilers.
Yeah, because we've had this conversation.
yeah.
I think we need to go as if we haven't already had that conversation.
So I mean, I wrote notes down, but I could pretty much remember stuff anyway, just
Yeah.
so that I could keep everything. I remember it all first started because I missed, I think it was a couple episodes.
Mm.
I missed one of them because of the fact that we got evicted, me and George,
Mhm.
out of the blue.
Mm.
It was so stupid. It was literally like noise complaint, and then, guys, you've got to leave.
Mm.
And I was like, all right, I've got happy hour Monday, so I'm not going to be in. But George was going away, so I was like, all right, Stevie went on holiday, so I'm sure I could probably just like get this day off. And it sucked because Tubes was on,
Mhm.
and I really did want to meet him because I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of Soccer AM. So like that really irritated me, but I was like, I can't, because then the estate agent's going to turn up, there's going to be nobody in, and then they'll probably get even more angry with us. And the apartment was a mess because I could have done it and still done the podcast,
Mhm.
but we live like pigs, so it was fucking terrible. So I literally spent the whole day doing stuff, missed the episode,
Yeah.
and I what from your point of view, didn't you feel like that I just wasn't interested anymore?
Yeah, so there comes the first conflict where obviously you said that you was getting evicted out the blue, yeah?
Which is great.
What yeah, a shit situation to be in. What a lot of people don't realise is myself, you and Steve, we were in a WhatsApp group to plan happy hour.
Yeah.
We didn't actually speak loads on there, did we? Like there'd be times when we'd go like 2 or 3 days without messaging each other.
And I'm terrible at messages because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
So for me, and I actually explained that to you at one point, I think, because you were like, "Oh, you don't really reply in the group chat anymore." Because I do remember you did bring it up,
Yeah.
and I was like, "It's not that I don't see it, don't read it, or anything. It's it's a really weird thing where if I get like a direct message on my phone, I will literally like I just feel myself getting in a place. So it's just like I just like panic.
Yeah, that's
Because
fine. Yeah.
I've had so many bad experiences with social media.
Yeah.
Terrible, especially with friends.
Yeah.
So when I get a message in those WhatsApp group chats, like when you first sent me a message being like, "Do you want to leave?" Because it seems like you do.
Yeah.
Before I even opened that message was like, "I really hope it's nothing bad. I really hope it's
Right.
nothing bad. I really hope it's nothing bad." And I open it, it's like, "Oh, does he want me to leave? I don't know. Is he
Yeah.
saying? Is he like suggesting that maybe like? Does he not think I'm interested? Does it come? Oh no. Oh, this isn't good. Oh, I mean, I panic.
Yeah. So that's where the first conflicts come from. So obviously, I didn't know that you're panicky and anxious about opening messages. So
Yeah.
I see it as somebody not replying, and if somebody doesn't reply for a few days, or I've just learnt that about you now. I figured, oh, you're not that arsed. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
You're, like me and Steve, you'd message all the time. I thought not that arsed. And the other thing is, you said that the eviction came out of the blue. Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that I didn't know it was that specific day. Yeah, I didn't
No,
know.
I think I said to you, I don't know if I can do Monday yet.
And it was so
I never,
vague.
and I never like saying no.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, like, I always, with previous people, I'll be like, I can't do this day.
Yeah.
And then people will automatically get angry for you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I was like, if there's a chance, I do want to make it because I don't want to let them down. I hate letting people down.
Right.
It's not something I want to do. So I was like, I don't know. We may have something that day. I'm not too sure. I was still trying to get George to be like, can you sort it? I don't know what's happening.
That's completely fine. And because you were vague and I didn't know what was going on, I saw it. I'll tell you exactly how I see it. You're not that bothered. You've not said why. You're like, I'm not too sure if I can do it. So I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, well, we do every fucking Monday. So what like I don't. Obviously, you're gonna have days you can't do, but because you were so vague, like, oh, I'm not sure. And then I saw the post you put on Instagram.
About the salad.
So you told me you couldn't make it because something was on, and then I saw you did an Instagram story where you're sat at home and you say, I'm so bored, I've just ordered a salad on Deliveroo. So we've just
That is peak boredom, by the way. No, I say that is as boring gets.
So I don't know you're in because you're getting evicted and you're waiting to
It
see
looks like I'm
someone.
just lying in bed.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, you don't give a shit because it's tubes or whatever, right? But like, I don't know. I didn't know you're a big soccer and football fan. And then this is where the really murky water comes, because I think there was one more day you couldn't do, and then. This is where it all gets tricky because we had the Ricky Gervais episode, right?
This is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. This is where it all started to like fall apart. So I said to Stevie, and I'll be completely honest now because this is what this is all about. I said, I bet he can do that one. Like, I bet he can do that. And
yeah, I could.
But yeah, this is like 2 weeks before like things started to happen. And at the time, and this is what some of your friends and perhaps has been in your mind that you don't believe, and I can promise you this is true. This is how I say it. I was told by Netflix that I sent over a whole list of stuff we're going to talk about, as I always do, and they boiled it down to basically say, just talk about Afterlife. In the previous episodes that I've done with Gervais,
No more pizza.
no
more YouTubers.
There was because they know it's a YouTube drama show and they'd obviously checked iTunes and stuff like that. They said boil it down to Afterlife, and usually when I've done stuff with Gervais before, I sort it out with him, direct messages.
Yeah.
And this time I was going through Netflix. I was speaking to about 4 or 5 different people. The first thing they said to me, apart from boil it down to Afterlife, the second thing they said to me was, it's just
kick IMALLEXX off.
No, they never ever said that. They said it's just going to be you and Ricky, and I was like, this is an issue. And I said, no, I've got
Just go on the main channel, Netflix.
Would-
Think about it, Netflix. Just put them on JaackMaate.
Exactly. I'm sure they'd seen it before. Although, to be fair, when Ricky came in here, and I'm not sure if this is in the video or not, he was surprised it was here. He thought it was still at the YouTube studios.
Oh, did you actually?
Yeah, like the last one that we
I
done.
thought you were going to go, Where's Alex gone? Has anybody's like, hey?
He couldn't give a shit. No,
No, he
no,
literally
no.
he did not care.
So he was like, "Oh, I thought it was at the YouTube studio." So that's more proof that he thought it was the similar concept, right?
Yeah.
So I said back to Netflix, "No, it's going to be me and my co-host," and they said they don't. Basically, in layman's terms, too many cooks spoil the broth. Yeah.
Yeah, but and I wouldn't disagree with him.
Yeah, and then I was forced with a dilemma of right. I've pushed for one more. I will hold my hands up now. I could have probably pushed a bit harder and gone, "Fuck it, this is the show," right? Because I thought you weren't too asked the week prior. That's at the front of my brain. So I think I'm not even going to push that hard. Okay, me and Stevie will do it. What another thing I want to say now, and I'm sure you'll have a reasonable explanation for this, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you as I see fit. We got given an early link to Afterlife, right? Because we had to see it purposely to write episodes about it. I said that in the group chat. Stevie messaged me straight away and was like, "What's the login?" And I gave it to him, and he watched all 6 episodes. And it wasn't until a day before we were meant to do the Ricky one where you were like what's going on tomorrow and stuff like that.
Purely eviction again.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I bet it literally that's kind of the start of what fucking really got in the way
What
of
fucked it.
literally everything for me. Like even just making videos on the main channel or anything like that. So
Exactly.
it's not, and it sucks, and that's why when you did message the group chat being like, who can do it, who can't, I was like, I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to like opt out. Of
Yeah.
obviously doing that episode because that would have been very big for me. I'm a big fan,
Of course.
which is ironic because I ended up going to the Netflix premiere for Afterlife anyway.
Yeah.
So after all of that, I was just like, it wasn't really a big deal. I probably
Yeah.
should have just said no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so funny because when I turned up to that premiere, the first thing me and James did was like, right, where's Jack?
I was invited and I didn't go.
Why?
Yeah, I know, because it conflicted with something else I wanted to do, and I'd already seen Afterlife, and then I saw that you and James went, and I was like, oh god, that would have been funny.
It would
to
have
see
been
there.
great. It would have been great because we were the youngest people in the fucking room.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. So there was that. So I thought, right, couldn't do the previous episodes. I'm being kind of like forced to have as minimal guests as hosts as possible, and didn't watch the 6 episodes and the things tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I could have easily, and this is probably on me, so be it. I could have probably just gone. I reckon I could have gone. Fuck it, Alex, just be there, right? And he wouldn't have given a shit, because this is something that I've noticed is a theme with Ricky, and you can probably tell he doesn't give a shit about anything.
No,
but
he
it's the
doesn't seem
teams
bothered.
around them that worry and they pussyfoot and stuff like that.
And well, I think we've all dealt with that with stuff on YouTube anyway. That's the part that gets in the way. I think what started to. Well, I think I mentioned it to somebody.
Yeah.
I can't even remember who at this point, actually.
Yeah.
I was like, they were like, are you going to do the Ricky Gervais episode? And I literally went, oh, no. I was like, I mean, I haven't seen it anyway. But also, I was like, I don't think Netflix will. I think Netflix only wants to do it with Jack.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like we didn't even really have much of a fucking clue what was happening until literally like the last day.
Yeah.
I remember it was like originally for like 2 months previous we were like, all right, Ricky's coming on. It's gonna be great, and we all knew that, and we all thought we were gonna do it. But number one, I was like, all right, so what are we gonna talk about? And we spoke about that briefly at Weatherspoons.
Yeah.
Over a cranberry pizza. And we weren't even sure really what it was gonna be. Then Netflix were like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, you can do this, you can do that. No, you can't. Actually, we don't. Actually, Netflix don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
We were just kind of like bouncing around, which is why I got to the point where I stopped. Like, I was reading the WhatsApp group chat, but I wasn't even sure what to reply to because I didn't want to be like, yeah, can't, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just like, because honestly, it wasn't. I don't even think that was necessarily really even our fault.
I think that was probably my fault though, because I think what it was just you and him, and I went, no, there's other hosts, and then they were like, basically keep it to 2 then, and then I know I could have probably gone, no, there's going to be 3, so I'm going back and forth going, oh, there's only me, no, there's 2, and I could have probably pushed more, but because of all the stuff that we previously done, I was like, I'm not too fussed about pushing it now.
Yeah, it starts to get to the point where it feels like not everybody is involved. I know how that feels because that's probably one of my biggest issues with YouTubers as a whole is when I'm doing a project with somebody and the moment you think that they are not pushing 110%, even for any reason, which I think weirdly at a certain point we both got to that point when just because of poor communication skills generally, it is doomed from that point onwards. And I mean I get that on various things. So it's probably the main thing why my other podcast ended. It would be like, right, this person doesn't want to record now, or this person doesn't want to edit the podcast today.
Yeah, if you feel like their heart's not in it, then it's hard for you to organise that.
And it's like, because then you no longer want to fucking push because you're like, why should I spend all this extra time if like they're not going to? And then it becomes a really like self-defeatist attitude, and literally over nothing, and it happens so many times that it's not even a surprise to me anymore.
And it becomes
Which
poisonous
is
in
one of
your
the
own.
reasons why I find it so easy to come on here and do this and talk about it openly, because I mean, luckily it's happened so many times for me. Now I'm just like, I could sit here and be like, I was dumb, like I was on the previous 5 podcasts I've done. It's like it goes both ways,
Of course.
and it sucks that it got to that. But then the podcast happened, and I was okay with it. I was like, yeah, Steve and Jack did it. It was all good. And then I was doing something the other day, like the day after, I think it was, and a bunch of people basically like, he's not talking to Netflix,
Yeah.
and I will say, probably because of the fact that I have such terrible history of YouTubers, I find it so easy to believe that
Of
people.
course.
I do find it easy, in a sad way, and it's something that I do want to fix, to the point where I think I'm gonna actually have to go get therapy for it. Because of this recent situation, I was like, quite clearly, I have a problem that I need to fix, because I have I have no trust with anybody anymore. Not even people I live with. It's terrifying.
Let me just. I don't want to do an Alfie and interrupt you when you're
No, go
you're
for it.
talking, but what. There's 2 things. First thing I'll say, just as a quick throwaway thing, is that I had, again, being completely honest, I had my slight worries, which didn't go well with the fact that you then didn't do the podcast. Because my worry was, Alex is fucking great at podcasts, really fucking good. I didn't know how much of a Gervais fan you were, by the way, right? I knew you liked him, but I didn't know you say you're a big fan. I completely get that, but I had my worries that
I didn't want to scare him if he came on.
no, it was like I didn't want you to come on and think, because you were so good at the YouTube drama, that we're bringing him on for that. Yeah. So I think about maybe a week or 2 before the Netflix stuff happened.
Yeah, before. Yeah.
I DM'd Will and E, right, because we were talking anyway, because Will was helping me with a brand deal idea, and I DM'd him and I made a joke about you. Now the reason that I said, oh yeah, we're doing Gervais next week. Hope Alex doesn't come on and talk about
brag
Jojo
about YouTube
Siwa
drama or something, yeah.
yeah, like, so I picked like the silliest person I could, Jojo Siwa, and then obviously fast forward a week when you're not on
I'll
it
make a
anymore.
JoJo Siwa video.
and you're not on it anymore, so it looks like I'm bitching about you to Will, but
Because everything changes.
this is so obvious. I don't know how people can't see this. And I don't know how you couldn't see this, but I get that you've had your issues and whatnot.
Literally just because of previous stuff.
Yeah, and I can't blame you for that. But if I was gonna slag you off, I'd do it to Stevie. I wouldn't do it to Will, who I know you're great friends with, who you pretty much lived with, or you didn't live with, but you used to come in every.
Basically like next door, yeah.
Yeah, he lives next door. I know he's one of your best mates. Like all of this stuff. So I am very aware. If I say anything seriously negative about you, I'm not going to do it to Will and E.
And you're not wrong. That makes complete sense. And from a completely same perspective now, not in like YouTube mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's how normal people wouldn't do that. The issue is with YouTubers, a lot of them are fucking nutty. And I know a lot of YouTubers, like to the point where that was one of the reasons why I was so good on it. I knew everyone.
Yeah.
Because I've had to deal with a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I used to be a part of a community. It's probably built of like 100 people. Think about that. Knowing 100 people and speaking to them every day. How crazy is that? Really stupid. And they weren't exactly the most social of people.
No.
And shit like that used to happen every hour. Not every day, every hour. It used to be to the point where like every few hours you get in a call with one. It used to be really weird. I get in a Discord call with 3 of my friends. And they go, fucking God, we hate X. We don't like this person.
It's very bitchy.
And then you join a call maybe 4 hours later, go to bed, because everybody's on different time zones, Australians, Americans.
Yeah.
They're in the call with like 2 of the people, and they go, "Do you know what? I don't like that person who was in the call earlier." And it would just switch. And that used to be every day.
That's mad.
And yeah, insane, like genuine insanity.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in that for about a year and a half. So like there are still essences of like, I believe, basically just because of the fact that that's the experience I've had with YouTube. That for me, I'm just locked into that. Because like, I see something like that and I go, oh, that's not good. I don't know. Is it a joke? And that's how I get in that position. And then if it was just a one-off thing, but then obviously loads of people were like, he doesn't want you on a Ricky Gervais podcast. He thinks you'll outshine him. And I was like, that's ridiculous. They're like actual good friends.
Yeah, that's my only point to that is whether you might be a better podcaster than me or whatever. You might be funnier than me, more intelligent than me. You wouldn't have
None of
outshined
those
me,
things.
but you could have been, but you wouldn't outshine me because I know him. We
Because
get
it's got
on.
your name on it.
Yeah, no, we get on. So you wouldn't. I wouldn't have felt intimidated by you. I know that sounds like I'm belittling you now. I wouldn't have
No,
felt
no, because
intimidated
I
by you.
would have been really worried by that because I know people in the YouTube thing and they can be like that in the sense they'll be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this certain thing because of the fact that, oh, it will like outbalance everything. And I got to the point where I was like, I get really worried because I have had it happen where I remember when I started, I was a really small YouTuber.
Mm,
Everybody was really cool with me,
mm.
didn't have problems with anybody. And then the channel blew up. And people instantly hated me who were friends of mine, like instantly, just because it grew. And that sounds so dumb because I don't expect that of most other people.
No.
But it's one of those things where it's always, once again, seeded out in my mind where it's like when people going, oh, it could be because of the fact that, it could be because of that. And I would have preferred it if it had been like, oh, Jack just thinks you're a huge cunt. So I would have gone, all right, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but you
'cause,
knew
like,
that from the start.
but you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I would really prefer if people's critique of me was really personal.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, I'm really cool with that.
Yeah.
I would just be like, yeah, I probably am.
But
I
then,
can accept that. But when people go, oh, it's just like the YouTube thing.
mm,
When I go, oh, don't say that. It makes me really sad.
no, yeah, but I think with you, which I'm not a doctor, but I don't think this is good for you. If you don't mind me giving you advice,
Then go for it. I need some.
you live in a YouTube bubble, yeah? So
Yes.
you live with YouTubers, right? You surround yourself with
Eat
YouTubers.
YouTubers, drink YouTubers.
Mate, all the time, yeah. So your upload schedule's bang on. This is why you was
it's
integral
not
to the
good
show.
for you.
No,
It's really not good for you. I could say that.
we differ like greatly, yeah, because you and obviously props to you because this is your job and this is why you like you're doing so well. You live it and you study it. People don't know this. I think well, like, you probably can tell, but I almost see the internet as secondary to me. So when I want to make a video, I'll make one. I didn't upload for fucking 5 weeks.
I get jealous when you play Sunday League games and post on your Instagram story.
Mate,
Do you know how much I wish I could still do that?
well, there's nothing stopping you though.
It's literally just because of the fact that all of my friends, especially when you live in London now, all my friends are down south still.
yeah.
And
And you're ex-Bournemouth Academy.
Exactly,
So
I am. I would be great on the wing. But you know what I mean? Like everybody,
Mm.
I do. When I moved to America like 2 years ago, I basically was like admitting to myself, I was like, all right, I'm really throwing myself all in.
Yeah, I remember. If you don't mind me saying, okay, we can cut this if you do. But you like got some YouTube revenue and you paid off a year's rent, didn't you? Straight
Just
away,
to get away.
just so you could
That's
then
fine,
do
yeah.
YouTube
No,
like that.
I spoke about that. Yeah, just because of the fact that and it's stupid now, but I think that back then it was one of those things where I was like, I'm never going to get this opportunity, so it's all in. And
That's
and
fine
now,
though. That's
but
admirable.
it's not necessarily because it was great because it
Mm.
is one of the reasons why I've got so as far as I did. But also, in hindsight, I think my worry now is that I will have more issues like this and I will burn out completely because of the fact that I threw myself in deep end so early and I didn't. I was one of those things where everybody's like, "Oh, when I become a YouTuber, everything's going to be great." And this is something that's advice for anybody.
Mm.
So like, when I become a YouTuber, all my problems will be fixed.
Mm.
But then you forget that the only reason why being a YouTuber is so enjoyable is because you get to still have your normal life.
Mm. And
I traded.
you did.
I completely and this is one of the reasons why I'm in this position now. And yeah, we didn't do a fucking good job at, I suppose, like sorting stuff out. But it's also because of the fact that
You're busy.
I've involved myself in a community in a job that's like so fucking ridiculous. That it has just basically almost given me an unrealistic output on life, I suppose. And that coupled with the fact that like because I don't want to make excuses because not what I'm on here to do. But that with like I used to have a therapist because my anxiety was so bad,
Mm.
and I'm sure you'd agree. I spoke to Marriott about this, but like YouTube will fucking
Swallow you up. It will swallow you
it
up
will
whole.
destroy you for that.
That's exactly why I've kept so, and I'm so thankful for this. I've kept so sane because, as you saw, if I don't upload, like you would always make jokes about my upload schedule. That's because I see it as secondary. I know it's my job and I have to survive and stuff, but luckily I've got a bit in the bank where I can live. So I'll go out every weekend or every other weekend. If I wake up one day, Fiona might come home from work at like 11 in the morning and she's done nights or whatever, and she'll go, why are you playing Call of Duty? Why are you not making a video? I go, because I don't want to.
Don't want to,
Right?
yeah.
Because I separate myself from that, and it'll be a second thought if I'm not mentally in the zone
Whereas
to
I'm
do
in
it.
like the live or die mindset. It's like every day is like, if I don't make the most out of today,
You worry it's going to fall by the
in
wayside.
5 years' time, when I never get any views, will I look back and be like, I should have been working that day?
That's
And
admirable
but that is a really unhealthy way to live.
it is. I agree. And what it is I think because I've been doing this for 10 years. I started when I was 16. I'm now 26. I'm obviously a bit older than you.
Yeah,
I
I'm 25, guys.
yeah, I've been there through I've had 6 or 7 years of shit where I weren't getting any views. Then I got views, then it dropped off. Then I got views, then it dropped off. So I actually it'll be a lie for me to say I don't care about views because every YouTuber wants views. But I'm not too fussed if I have a month. Last month I lost subscribers. I was minus
Are you fucking
subscribers.
kidding me?
Yeah, I overall in the 31 days I was minus
You
400.
got another video.
Because I didn't upload. But I was seeing that drop off from week 1. Did that make me upload week 2? No. Week 3? No. And some will put it down to laziness, and that's fine. But I can't mentally prepare myself to make a video if I don't want to do it.
James has been in the same position. He literally has uploaded 3 videos since the beginning of the year.
So he'll know how I feel. Like,
yeah, and he totally agree with you.
whereas you've jumped in the deep end. You've even gone to America to do videos. You've done all this, and great, you are smashing it, and you deserve it. You've jumped in, and
I'm drowning.
and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like I don't want to put age on you as like, oh, you're young so you're dumb. You're not. You're one of the smartest people I've met. You know YouTube more than anyone I know. Yeah. So therefore you absorb it and you think if I don't upload, I'm gonna be fucked.
It's
right?
also stuff like when your video goes up, which I suppose we can move on to. It was like, for me, I remember when like the first video went up on me, and people came in and were like, "You should watch this." Well, we spoke about it before, like the Kavos one, and I was like,
Yeah,
"No."
well, fuck him anyway.
I was like, I don't want to fucking watch that. So like, I was like, don't, and I didn't like when my friends came in and did that, because I think for me also, like with the Kavos video, I literally watched people like friends of mine just like fucking like in real life friends of mine just switch because of the fact that he was like growing faster, blowing up, all that stuff.
But
Obviously that's not saying, so I don't like it when videos get uploaded to me at the best of times, but I've never had a video.
But then how can you say that? Because you do that for a living. You make videos
Yeah,
about
of course.
people. So how can you not?
Of course, because I suppose nobody enjoys having the video being made on them. I've always said that. I know when I make videos on other people, they're not going to sit there and go, "Can't wait to sit down and watch this."
I always think
And when I meet those people, I met Corinna and Gabby Hanna, and I was like, I don't blame you for not enjoying them. I was like, that's totally fair. In the same way I don't. I think it'd be weird if you saw a video of her and you were like, yes, I can't wait. It's gonna be great fun. I have no problem with people making them though. I think, and this is the thing, because I said it to you on the phone. You had every right to make that video in any way you wanted to. You could have been as mean as you wanted. But I said, but there was no way that I was ever going to take it well. I was like, in the same way that, and this is my difference, because I know when I said it, like we'll talk about the Alfie Day stuff as well, because I do want to talk about that. People were like, oh, well, it just seems like you're taking down like your own genre in the thing. It's like, yeah, 100%, definitely am. It's flawed. It is a flawed genre, but I don't think that it means people should stop making it. No way. I love making the videos I make, and I'd love the fact that we could go on and do that. It's what separates us from the YouTubers just pretend that everything's all fucking great and good all the time.
But then
but you don't have to. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily an enjoyable thing all the time.
you didn't. What it was you can criticize a genre that we do. You can criticize your own videos and be self-deprecating and all of that. But what it was, because you was on there, you and Fraser were pawns in his game, sure, but you were on there too. Be the voice of the commentary community. So when you went on there and kind of invertedly slagged off the community, sure, there's flaws in it. I completely agree. It's a poisonous place to be.
Yeah, some people are really bad.
But it was almost like you're going on there to not defend, but to be the voice of the commentary community, and you caved in and almost kind of like slagged off the thing. And that's what I had the problem with. I was like,
I do get that.
I was rooting for you. I was like, go on. Like,
I do get that, but I think the issue is that everything that I said on there is all stuff that I have actually said on Happy Hour, which is why for me, obviously, I probably should have been like, okay, obviously people are going to be looking over this under a different microscope to when I'm just normally having a chat, which I didn't do. And honestly, I came on that thing very last minute. I was going to be Fraser and Alfie, and they were both like, we want somebody to kind of mediate. And I know I didn't really do that, but it was more just like, do you want to sit in? And I was like, yeah, I think it'll be fun, because I wanted to... My thing of going on there was that I feel like a lot of the commentary channels do this thing, which is what I have a problem with. And I know this may not make any sense to people, but they will literally talk as if they have never harmed a fly, where 95% of them, and it is a big number,
Mm.
big. It's like I think I have met more terrible people with commentary channels than normal YouTubers,
Mm.
which is why, and I basically said it in the live stream, which is why for me everything's so skewed. Which is one of the reasons why YouTube for me is something that I'm not really. I don't know how I feel about it at the moment
Mm.
anymore because of the fact that I've met commentary YouTubers who made videos saying why you shouldn't diddle kids, and then they fucking diddle kids, and there's a lot of
Fucked
them.
up.
So
Yeah.
for me, my perspective of commentary, I know I am one,
Mm.
but it's really shit. And I do want to put that out there. I hate the genre,
Mm.
and I will happily say that. Not a fan. The commentary channels I watch nowadays are the reaction guys.
So are you not going to do it anymore then?
I try not to.
Why would you want to if you hate the genre?
Yeah, exactly. It's for me. I like doing the reaction stuff more. My last 2 videos were reaction videos.
They're funnier. They're funnier.
And that's what we spoke about on the Alpha Days podcast. I don't know if it made it in though, which
Mm.
we'll get on to.
Yeah.
But me and Fraser basically went on there. I know we were going to go on there and be like, "Fucking let's put all the criticism towards Alfie Days that we've put towards him," which I'll also get onto. But me and Fraser would talk about being like, "This is a great opportunity to finally transition into doing more reactionary stuff."
Yeah.
It's like because we could be like, "Hey, yeah, we fucked up a lot,"
Mm.
which we have.
Yeah.
And that's not something
I've-
that's up for debate. And we did take a lot back on that podcast, understandably. There's a lot of stuff that I should have said to Alfie Days that I did believe. But also, for me, I think I didn't realise that was my job when I went on there. If I'd have realised that that's what people wanted from me,
Mm.
I would definitely have done it. I really underestimated that. And I apologise because I would have done that if I knew that what I was meant to do.
I think maybe
But also,
he-
I definitely the person who technically should have been on there. I know that's kind of the thing now. At the time when me and Fraser went on there, we thought we were just going to talk about YouTube. I didn't
Right.
want to say that. Well, the whole thing wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be what it turned out to be. That
Yeah.
was not what it was.
Yeah. Because
I-
I think you were two different sides of the coin that somewhat merged during it, and I know it's good to have like what we're doing now. It's good to have a chat and find some common ground. But I felt like I think the Alfie fucking days, right? So people, like you just said, there's some people in the community that think they've never put a foot wrong, right? I know I've put a foot wrong. Yeah, me personally, I can only talk from my experience. I've put many foots
and I wasn't
wrong, right?
referencing you on the pod,
that's
by the
fine.
way.
But like, I've got fucking shitty old tweets that
I
I've
think
put when I was
I
in-
mentioned the
in-
people I've mentioned, and we even mentioned ourselves. We use ourselves as examples.
Of course, there's nothing wrong with saying
We're terrible.
You've been there and done that. But where I differ, and I think you're with me on this, well, not so much recently, but where I thought you was with me is I've done shitty things, and in the future, I will probably do shitty things. That's just how fucking humans work, and we learn and we grow. I'm not immune to criticisms. I somewhat think that Alfie Days thinks that any fucking criticism against him is wrong.
Well,
and
after I watched it back, that was the impression I got. Unfortunately, and I will say this, not the impression I got when we sat there for 4 hours, which I think people don't realise. It's an hour-and-a-half thing.
Yeah.
But we sat there for 4.
Mm.
And for the first hour and a half,
Mm.
it very much came across like, why do you criticise people? And my response was mainly, it's fun.
Mm.
Because it is. I like taking the piss.
And
And he was like, well, you wear merchandise and you critiqued Ollie White. So I was like, yeah, but mine's funnier than Ollie White's.
Mm.
He didn't like that response.
right.
He was like, oh, no, it's both takes the same amount of time. And I was like, yeah, but like, he's unapologetically like, I'm brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, guys, I'm literally just taking the piss out of everybody who bought this. You're just like, I just done a whole video critiquing Ollie White, and you've done it. And that was the joke. And I didn't explain it very well on there because of the fact that I didn't fucking realise it was going to be that.
Mm.
So I came terribly unprepared
Mm.
because I generally thought it was just going to be us talking about YouTube for 4 hours. And that is dumb of me. I feel stupid.
Well, that's fine. So, no YouTuber is immune from criticism. Some get more than others, possibly because they fuck up more. But
Maybe.
so I don't think anyone is saying that Alfie and Zoella are the worst people in the world. With me personally, I've made jokes about things that they've done that I do think are shitty, and then I've also made videos because they're so far removed from what I believe to be like sort of like normality now. They're so far removed. I continue to make jokes about these people because of who they are. So yeah, it's specific.
I
It's
mentioned
specific
that
to
on
them.
the podcast
So-
as well. I was like, most of the stuff that he was taking as critique were obvious jokes.
Jokes, yeah.
And I said that to him. I was like, So that was a joke.
Yeah.
And I think he mentioned the £1 video.
Yeah.
And he was definitely talking about your one.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a joke.
Yeah. That video's funny.
But also, the thing is, I do want to say, in defense of him, which I'm sure people won't like,
Mm.
is that I do almost feel like he does have that approach because I suppose originally he started off as like just a bit of a mug in his room vlogging.
Which we all
And,
are.
Yeah. And he got a lot of hate for being a mug in his room vlogging. Whether it's justifiable or not, I'm not going to talk about that. But he's equally, in my opinion, at this point, I was definitely a point where, and I said it to him, I said every time I mentioned him and his crew, I believed everything I was saying. And I did believe it. I don't anymore, though. Just because I feel like at a certain point, when somebody hasn't done anything and people continue to hate them, it sways to the point where it just becomes to the point where he was... The impression I got from him wasn't more like... It was frustration, which I kind of understood where he was at with that, because it was like, yeah, I've probably done some things wrong, which me and him have spoken about before. We spoke about it in person. We probably should have done it on the video.
And with the frustration that you were saying, I get that he's frustrated. I completely get it. And if somebody had consistently made jokes about me, I'd be frustrated.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't enjoy it.
But that's my point. Like, if you're so frustrated, why don't you get the people that have been at the forefront of causing that frustration, i.e. me, in that room?
Definitely you.
And yeah, definitely me. There's no two ways about it. I'm the elephant in the room here. Like, so I'm seeing it as you two are there. He knows that I'm probably going to be a bit more aggressive in my response. You've been sold, we're just going to talk about YouTube. So you've gone in placid. It then made you look like you'd bottled it. And I think the reason why I mentioned you on the pod, because up until now, despite the differences that we'd had, I genuinely didn't know we had a problem. And the reason why I brought you up in that video was not to stab you in the back or to snake you, is because I was disappointed, because I felt like you've gone on there to almost fight our corner. I'm not on there. Go on there. And he's warped it in a way in which you two can't respond. And when Fraser went to respond, he'd bang on the fucking table and interrupt him. And
Yeah,
that's not productive.
I mean, I wasn't happy with that.
No.
But this is the thing. Like, I've been very just out of it for the whole thing because of the fact that I've just been like, I'm just gonna let it be whatever it was. And for the first few weeks, I was pretty happy with the outcome. I spoke to Fraser about it a lot. I was like, I was taking most of the stick. I knew that, and I knew why that would be, because I was like, I do a podcast with Jack. Of course I am. I was very aware from that. When I left the table, I was like, this isn't one where people are going to come out celebrating me. And I was fine with it. I was like, because I feel like for what I want to achieve, which is that I don't want to be seen as somebody who's unapproachable, that's why I went on there. And in fact, it made me... Then I went to VidCon the following week, and it made it a lot easier to be able to... A lot of people approached me, being like, thank you for doing the Alfie Days interview. I know that, obviously, a lot of people didn't fucking take it very well, but I feel like you're more approachable now than just like, evil, we need to stop, man. Which was for me what I want, because I want to be able to do commentary, but be able to do it in a way where I suppose everybody's almost represented in a sense. And I think the issue was I opened the Alfred Days video. I'll tell you what, I haven't watched it because I watched the intro and I was like, this is not what I recorded.
If you don't watch something back, then it strikes me that you know you're not going to be happy with the outcome.
It's literally the first 30 seconds. It's like him cutting together a trailer of like him owning us.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
and I'm fucking pissed, and that's why I was so angry because.
But that's all he ever wanted with that.
I didn't even come out of it being like, Alfie Days is one of his best mate. I was like, now Jack's done a video. I was like, oh, now I hate everyone.
Yeah,
and I was, and that's why I feel like I stupidly expected probably too much from it, and I get on with Alfie, because we're both support the Tory party, so we see him at meetings, when we go to donate our yearly income. But no, like I get on with him well, so I don't want to levy at him as a criticism at him. It's more my fault.
Don't bottle it, Alex. You can go in on him, mate.
No, I don't level it as a criticism at him. I feel like,
but you can get on.
No, it is a criticism at him.
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say is that I should take responsibility. I'm fucking bad at speaking, but that's what it is. It's I'm responsible for the fact that I didn't represent myself in the way that maybe I wanted to, but also because I don't want to be like, oh, Alfie, fucking, it wasn't what I but it wasn't what I expected it to be.
Of
And
course,
that's just
but
me
let me
being
just
honest.
interrupt and say you just said you get on with him well, but you're intelligent and you can articulate your points well in your "We Need to Stop" videos. So you can get on with someone well and still criticize them.
Yeah, which is what I should have done.
And if he takes that badly, that's on his shoulders. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because people are well within their right to criticize me. And in your live stream, there were some criticisms of me that I agree with. And I don't hate
I
you.
also didn't realize he was going to be that angry. I do want to say that.
I-
I thought that even if I thought we were going to do it in a way that me and you are doing it now, none of us banging on the table.
Yeah.
Um,
I would, but it'd just make a horrible noise.
yeah, horrible noise to ruin the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really thrown back because I was like that. And I don't know if you could tell, but I started off cracking jokes. I stopped doing that pretty quickly.
You turned pretty somber.
I was like, I got almost annoyed
Mm.
at just being there. I was like, I'm fucking really annoyed now.
Yeah.
So I don't even, because I was like, I don't want to suddenly now go from cracking jokes to what the fuck are you doing?
Mm.
And also, I just felt like it would be so. That was not what went on there to do. But obviously, when you can't achieve what I wanted to do on there, when all parties don't want to do it,
They don't want to push in the same way. The vote
no,
won't go that way.
and we did in the end, because what it got round to is we came round to the end of the thing, and if he wants to post the whole thing, that's up to him, and we'll get on to more stuff like that. He in like the second half of it, it was just like we started talking about everything. It was basically what we did is we, in the first half, you see us all go over everything in a very Alfie Days' angry way, and then in the last hour and a half, we do it all again, literally everything again, pretty much, just because of the way the conversation leaked round. Because we
Right.
sat there 4 hours,
Yeah.
and it was way better the second time
Yeah.
in terms of everybody articulate their points well.
But do you think that's because he'd already gotten the first bit he wanted, with him alpha mailing you out of the room?
And then in the second part, I think me and Fraser kind of more found our feet.
Yeah.
And obviously nobody's going to see that.
No.
And also in the second part, he was nicer,
Right.
which helped.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like more like three lads having a chat more than two people sat opposite and him at the head of the table just fucking.
Yeah.
And that sucks because, you know, I do wish that was the part that had gone out. But also at the same time, like, for me, it's something that I will learn from.
But then there's not much to learn, because what I want to get on now quickly is from my angle from that video, and obviously the famous comment of bottling it, right?
Yeah.
And what I want to stress is you're not a bottler, right? You're not. We've sat in here with KSI and we've both told him our criticisms of him to his face. We made jokes. It was perfect. I know you're not a bottler. So I felt you were going on to fight the corner of all of our corners, and it wasn't that way. So I've made one comment in that video. What people don't realise as well, because of this beef has come out after, people think it's a me v you thing, which I never saw it as that. I saw it as a me, you, Fraser,
I think that's
commentary
the thing that
community.
annoyed me the most, because even when the fucking podcast went out the first time, it was not a. You got to remember, and I don't want to say this, I've never fucking like made a direct like I hate Alfie Days video.
No.
And it wouldn't matter even if I did, but I haven't done that.
No.
So I think people almost I don't actually think people know that, because I think because of the happy hours we do and all that, people almost assume that, oh, quite clearly he's definitely done. I did Hello World.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because people probably watch it, and that's fine, because I'm sure I did mention it in that. But I've got like Joe Sugg on the thumbnail. I only put that in there because he's part of the squad.
Right.
I was like, that's
yeah.
great.
I think
Views.
I think they're all on there. I think.
they all
and
are.
then because there was a bit in the, because this is what I want to stress now. When I done the video and I mentioned you, although I stand by everything I said in that video,
Yeah, rightfully so.
I didn't see it as, and of course I was a bit naive to the fact that obviously you weren't going to take kindly to that, right? So let's ignore the fact that
We can ignore that anyway.
Ignore the fact that I'm worried about your emotions for a second. So because that's what I had to do. I said at the start of the video, I had to remove any kind of relationship I have with you two, because I want to critique
And I know
the video.
you sent it to Stevie as well, like, multiple times,
as a
just to
whole.
make sure that it was like not going to be too terrible.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to go in. There were some bits that I'd said about you that I removed from the video, because I thought, well, as a friend, that's cunty, because I'm actually like...
Yeah, calling me ugly was too
No, I never did that. I just thought it. No. So there were some bits that I removed specifically of that. I saw... I saw the worst thing I'd said about you was you bottled it on the day. Right now, I don't think you're a bottler. On the day, in that video, if I didn't know you three and I watched it completely without any kind of emotion, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
So when you did your stream, which I think we will get onto, I was like a bit like I know I'm not immune from criticism, so I knew you was within your right to reply. I thought you might do a reaction video to it. That's
I
what
really didn't want to do that.
that was my prediction.
And everybody was like, because this is the thing. I did that stream.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of pushed into where I originally was like, I'm not responding.
Yeah.
I said that for like 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
And then people were like, do a video, do a video, do a video. You could destroy Jack. And I was like, I don't want to destroy Jack.
Right, and I didn't want
like,
to destroy you.
I was like, that's not the aim. I was like, and just because you fucking critiqued me in a video, it's like, my main thing is I want to be like, hey, everybody who is listening. I went, that was the thing for everybody. It's like, if you're a friend of mine and you want to fucking, basically, because in my point of view, I was like, I thought it was like, he must be aware. He must be aware that we're not on good terms. So I was like, if you're going to be one of those people who, as soon as we go on not good terms, you could have suddenly put me in a video. Because that was my perspective, obviously. I was like, we're not on good terms anymore. He's throwing me in a YouTube video. I was like, don't do that, because I will be fucking angry. And that was all I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And we spoke about that afterwards.
So I see it as obviously my criticisms of you in that video, I felt genuinely weren't a big deal. So I felt like I'm going, he's bottled it. Let's talk about Alfie. Let's talk about Alfie. Let's talk about Alfie.
It is like half an hour of Alfie.
Yeah.
And I know there's only 5 points of me.
Yeah. So, but then when all the comments come in, and obviously again a bit ignorant
It's
of me,
we were
not
friends.
not imagining the backlash. I see the comments come in. I go, whoa.
Whereas for me, as somebody who's been on YouTube and has done this so many times before, I actually was like, he does know this is gonna. As soon as you tweeted that you're gonna post a video, I was like, oh no. Will like text me being like, oh, it's gonna be Alex versus JaackMaate, and I was like, it is, and I was like, does he know that? So does he know that like that's literally because I obviously you didn't, which is like this is the crazy thing about YouTube as well, is that I think that I am so involved that I am looking at it from the perspective. I was like, he also knows that this is not going to go well, and he's going to post it anyway.
But I also,
which obviously, in my mind, makes me even angrier.
I knew you wouldn't take to it.
Whereas you didn't know that it was going to go.
I think it was the second video I'd posted in 2 months, so I didn't know. I didn't know everyone would jump on that comment. That made it the reaction made what I said seem a lot bigger than it was. All I'd said was one thing.
The comments made what you actually said in the video seem way worse than what it actually really was.
I'm glad you think so, because I never wanted to throw you under the bus. Now this is another thing, and this has become a theme now, and I want to get on to the stream and things that were said in the stream, because I think you've quite rightly defended yourself well today, and it's not even you defending, because I don't want to push anything on you.
I mean, you aren't attacking. I just want to say that me and Jack aren't attacking each other.
No, but I wanted to.
I'm back on Happy now forever. So unlucky.
I just want to defend myself on some of the things that were said in the stream. But before we get on to that, and this is something that I've wanted to say for a while. Up until I did that video, and as I said to you on the phone, I noticed a few jokes going up online. Right now, I'll explain what the jokes were, and this seems like there's no way of me bringing this up without seeming like I massively care, right? And the thing is, I don't massively care.
You just cry yourself to sleep at night.
I do. I cuddle a little teddy bear and I cry myself to sleep. But I see some jokes come up, and so I see a thing on an XO video, right? We don't even need to go in it, right? And then there's a live stream with Will in which you said you wanted to box me. I find it funny, yeah. I find it funny, and it wasn't your fault, because I'm someone that can take a fucking joke. I can take a joke. So I'm seeing these little digs go up after we've parted ways.
Actually, can I just say this? The XO one, the first person I wrote down on that was Wild Spartans, but because Will literally went, nobody's gonna know who he is. So I went, we'll do Happy Hour then.
Yeah, right.
So I forgot about that actually. I forgot about that. So I basically flip a board around, and it's like, what channel would you delete? And I go, Happy Hour, I've got too many podcasts. I was still on the podcast at that point, which is why but by the time it went up...
you wasn't on the podcast.
But by the time it went up, actually.
But then why would you want to delete your own podcast? That doesn't make sense.
It was just a joke.
But then this is where I need to stress this, because this is what I feel strongly about. I have never, ever, ever had a massive problem with Will, right? Will and E, ever, right? I've always liked his videos, and he's someone that I've always watched, yeah? Before I met Will, and I'll be really quick with this point, before I met Will, he made a dig at me once where it was quite funny. It was a funny joke. It was like some YouTuber was Coachella, and then the shitty Leeds festival one was me, right? And then
Was it?
and then he met me, and then I do go to Leeds and stuff like that, right? So he's already
Well.
making little jokes at me, right? And now when the Will and E beef comes into play, is I was doing a video about Hello World. We had been DMing, and there's a reason I go through all this. So just let
Yeah.
me explain the
Yeah, go
previous
for
beef.
it.
So we had been DMing like a few days before that. I post a Hello World and video, and he messages me saying,
Same.
"Have a day off, mate." Right? Have a day off. Now
Well,
what?
I posted that video as well.
Yeah. So what he doesn't. Him saying have a day off, mate, is weird because he's saying, oh, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. That's what my channel is, Will. That is what my channel is. I talk about YouTubers, I critique them. And if I make jokes about the same fucking YouTubers, then don't watch it. And previously, he had messaged me. So why could he not DM me and say have a day off? So this is how I see it exactly. So I thought, right, a year ago when you were fucking class, like I thought his videos were better at the start. That's not a dig. That's my personal preference. He would often make jokes about the bigger YouTubers. Then he became friends with them. And then because I know he's friends with a lot of people that hate me, it was very easy for him to go, have a day off, mate, and get ticks from all of them, right? And
My
get
favourite one was the one where we spoke about Yee. So
yeah, well, this is what I mean, right? So he's getting almost like a pat on the back from all them because he's fighting the good fight now. He's going against the big bad wolf, which he was also one of, right? So he's now with them. So I see, right, okay, he doesn't like me. So in a video, I say that exact point. I don't go in on him. He didn't do anything wrong apart from that. I addressed that in a video. So he didn't like it. People started calling me a snake. Fine, I'll take it all day long. I don't give a fuck. Then, since then, when me and you were doing the podcast, we're on great terms. Yeah, we're good mates. He helps me out, gives me some advice in a DMs about a brand deal, right, and help me get a bit more money. So for that, I'm grateful, and I'm coming from a place of someone that doesn't mind Will. I like him, right? I genuinely do like him. Then we do. I apologise to him for making that video a thing. It should have been sorted offline, right? Much like this.
like this,
Yeah,
yes.
so I apologise to him, and he agrees to go to lunch with me, right? So I'm pretty sure he
I
won't.
didn't get lunch, by the way, guys. So.
He wouldn't. I think this is before the podcast as well, before it ever started.
It was because I remember you guys telling me about it.
It was last summer, so I don't know. No one will know this,
I think because that's when he told you to put me on.
yeah. So yeah, he suggested you. So we went to lunch, and it was a little bit awkward because it was like we've had this beef. Like it was very
And
awkward.
he took you to a very nice place, from what I remember.
Yeah, that was strange. I thought we were going to go to Nando's, and he suggested a nice burger place. So I'm sat there with like a proper napkin and that. Like, fuck, this seems like marriage
That
counselling.
sounds like Will.
Yeah, so that was bizarre, right? So we done that. I said to Will about some issues and everything, and I felt like it was really nice, and I'm glad that he gave me his time. Then more stuff happens. All good. We do the Christmas podcast with True Geordie, right?
Yeah,
We
that was a fucking mess.
he used to make jokes to me when he see me. I'll come in the room. He'll go, "Oh, not you, for fuck's sake," like that. Fine. But then throughout his videos during this time, and again, I probably can't find them. It's just happened. It might have been a tweet here and there, stuff like that. He's made little jokes online, which I can take the joke. I don't care. But he's made little jokes and dug me out online when I like this person. We're chatting quite a fair bit. He's
it
making
builds
jokes
up,
because,
yeah.
and he's doing exactly what I'm doing to Alfie. Not as much. Obviously, no one goes in as much as I fucking do. I know I sound like a broken record. So
Yeah, the comments agree.
yeah, yeah. And,
Trust me, I know what it's like to not go out on Alfie days.
yeah. That's fair enough. So I'm seeing these little tweets publicly when we chat, and I'm thinking it's weird because I don't want to call him this, and it's going to seem like I am, and I'm not, but I'm getting the snake emojis. I'm getting the snake emojis when I like this person.
Don't worry, he got them all back during the KSI stuff.
Well,
so.
I know, yeah, I know what he's been doing. So, and then this leads me on to you. So obviously he knows you. We part ways because we've just now agreed on this podcast, I think, that I completely didn't understand your situation with the eviction. You didn't understand my point of view with getting you off. I'll agree with that. And we didn't see each other. We didn't speak enough. Communication was the problem. But I know that you've got Will in your ear, right? Who I know has told you that he doesn't like me. Then why are we going for meals? Why are we chatting? Why are you helping me with brand deals?
I think it's one of those things where with Will, I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think Will doesn't like you. I think it's one of those things where he
says in his life
because he speaks to me all the time about how he doesn't necessarily want me to do like the fucking commentary videos I do, and I get it because I think in his up mind he got really fed up with the whole YouTube drama thing,
But it's not
which
up to him to decide when that's over.
obviously, yeah, but at the same time, I don't think with Will, I never get the vibe that it's like that he hates anybody or he's got a bad bone in his body.
I think he's a lovely guy.
So do I do want to state that, and
Yeah.
because even when the fucking KSI snake emoji thing, I was like, Will didn't do that because he was trying to dig us out, and that was what people assumed. I think Will's thing is in the same way that I did in the Alfie Days podcast, is that he wanted to be almost like this weird, like, jokey mediator, which doesn't really work. Honestly, I don't think you could do it. I fucking quite clearly couldn't.
Especially when there's two sides. To sit in the middle of that, it seems like you are floating around sides.
And when you say stuff, and it's always small stuff, because that's exactly how this happened, like with me and you. It was like, first of all, it was like small digs from both sides, jokes in live streams, like when I said I want to box you.
But then he replied to that saying, I don't like him at the best of times.
Well, that was definitely a joke at that point, because we were, as far as I'd spoken to him about a lot about the stuff, just being like, I don't want it to get out of hand with Jack, and like we're on good terms. So he was like, yeah, and he doesn't want me to fall out with people, and neither does he. I don't think any of us want that. Everybody wants to be on as good terms as possible, but I think it's one of the things that, for me, I definitely lost my temper a few times, which is why I cracked a few of those jokes, which at the time for me I was like, oh, they're just jokes, they're probably not anything about it, but really I should have realised, in the same way that when you did the video, that I was like, this isn't gonna make it anything any better. I was like, yeah, it's a funny joke that maybe will find funny because of the previous beef that you two had, but apart from that, I shouldn't be making those jokes, because there are 5,000 other people watching who don't find that stuff funny. And just because me and Will were like, it's funny because, like, me and you, we both have problems with Jack.
But then, because obviously you do the stream, as I said at the start of the podcast, you're within your right to do the stream, and I don't dislike you for doing the stream. What I saw from that, and with the whole Netflix thing and stuff like that, I see a guy that I feel, whether he has or not, I'm not calling him a snake, I feel he's been a bit snidey to me, and that's purely because of a part of his good character as well, because why you help me with a brand deal and then you say this publicly, and I can only thank him for
what did he say in it?
What?
I didn't see it.
In what? Sorry.
In publicly about the recent stuff.
Oh, he just replied the "have a day off, mate" thing again, which is funny because it's a meme.
Yeah, he's just taking a piss. But obviously, under that pretext,
it was
I
heated
don't understand why
anyway.
it would go down well. But he was like, "Do I tweet it?" He asked me.
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah, go on, it'd be funny."
But But what I need to say is,
I'll accept that. It wasn't a Will thing. Will was like, "Do I tweet it?" And I was like, I deleted the stream at that point, and I was like, oh yeah, it'll be a laugh, and it would probably take a lot of the heat out of it.
But then he's also tweeting stuff like, you do the stream, and he says, IMALLEXX masterclass. So it's like he's obviously buzzing.
Did he?
Yeah, but he deleted it. He deleted it, and I get that they're jokes. I can't stress that enough.
I didn't see that.
Can you see how and then you tell?
Obviously, because at that point, now we've got in a position where it's gone to shit.
Yeah, and he's there jumping on it, right? So what I'm saying is, when the Netflix thing happened, and you didn't believe that, you did not believe, but it was a grey area for you. You've got.
I was more inclined to believe it. Yeah,
you've got people around you who I know, and as you've said previous times,
it wasn't Will.
Podcast,
it wasn't Will with the Netflix
but
thing.
But people that don't like me for whatever reason, because you're in that circle. As soon as one person doesn't like that person, that circle won't.
Yeah, so and if you don't have your own group, then and you're not wrong with that, because that was one of the problems that I had with what I said about the 100 commentary channels. I remember I stood up to one of them.
It spreads like a cancer.
I stood up to one of them who I believed had done something very wrong. In the friendship group.
And then people are going to take sides.
Oh, they didn't take sides. I was axed.
Right, exactly.
I lost 100 friends overnight.
Exactly, and that's bullshit. And that's not what's happening here. You surrounded yourself with people that don't like me for whatever reasons. Most of them I've really never had the time of meeting.
I've got a lot of stuff from a lot of people since the beginning of the podcast. But because I've told you a story about one of my old friends, nobody who I live with now. One of my old YouTube friends. Was basically just like, Jack's this, Jack's that. All these stories go around, and I always would defend you all the time.
I know who you're on about,
because of the fact that I was like, I'm gonna go off my own personal experience. And I think the hardest thing, the Ricky Gervais thing, is obviously it's such a big thing for me. Obviously, you didn't realize at the time, and then when I feel like I'm being forced out, and I've been told all this stuff, because I think people don't realise I've been told of this stuff for like fucking so long.
That's my point. You've got people that don't like you going, oh, he's saying
and I'm not just going to put it, and it's not Will. Because Will literally really won't speak about any of that stuff because he fucking hates it, and he hates the fact that I always go on about it.
He speaks about it online quite a bit.
Well, yeah, more, yeah, more than most, but I think that's just because of the fact that he wanted to have my back, and he knows that I don't. He knows many people don't speak up for me.
He should be
So
doing it in person. Then.
I appreciate that he did it. That he did it a lot. Because a lot of people don't do it. He said they would. And they know who they are, and they're friends of mine. And obviously, yeah, probably not the best thing to do, but at the same time, like, I'm so used to stuff on YouTube where that happens so many times, and then nobody says anything.
But can I just say, like, I don't care. I genuinely do not give a fuck if Will doesn't like me. Right?
It looks like you guys are gonna have to go out for another meal.
Yeah, no, but no, I'm not calling him out. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm defending myself, right, against jokes. The way in which he defended his YouTube friends when I made jokes about them.
Yeah, and
so,
defended me with this. So.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't care if Will doesn't like me. That's fine. But what you've got to understand is when me and you have a disagreement, he's coming from a place of. Or you said not him, so his friends who also don't like me. They're telling you things, and it's conflicting with my thing, and you're obviously going to believe them
because it is literally like at that point it was like 10 against 1. So...
Yeah. How the fuck do they know, by the way, though? Unless you're me or Stevie, or you had a better idea than any of them. This is the thing. I'm happy to get the snake emojis if that's what people think. But what people are forgetting is whenever I've had a slight problem with something you've done or something Will's done, I've said it online.
Put it in a video.
I've said it online. I've done it. Like so how the fuck is that snaky? That's the most upfront, honest fucking thing there is.
And that's why I did my response, because of the fact that I remember I called a bunch of people. And I was like, I don't want to. And they were like, you should do something. And I kept on saying, I don't want to talk about it. But then it's not true to myself if I don't talk about it. I always want to. I was like, I hate the fact that I can't. And then everybody else would be like, oh no, we'll think about the implications of having your YouTube channel. I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I literally do not give a fuck about. I have fought my fucking most dedicated fans over the right for me to be able to make jokes, because I could not give a fuck anymore, because it destroys my mental health, feeling like I have to cower down to these people or anyone, to the point where I am fucking rude to a lot of my friends, and I'll say it honestly, because I'm so fucking fed up of people lying to my face that I've done. Do you know what? It was so funny. Afterlife, James Barrett tweeted this. He was like, Ricky Gervais's Afterlife is just a cinematic version of IMALLEXX after he came back from America. And it is so true. He's not wrong. When you did the video, I was like, fuck him, I'll say what I want. Fuck him, I'll do whatever. Yeah. And in the same way that fucking Ricky's character does in the fucking show. Yeah. And I do it with my friends, I do it personally private, because YouTube is fucking terrible. And I will say this, it's fucking terrible.
That's why I separate myself from it.
I fucking hate YouTube. Yeah. And I will go out and say it right now. I fucking hate the platform. I don't know what it does to people, because it puts a monetary value on everything and everyone, to the point where nobody actually wants to be themselves, because of the fact that they're scared that it will go against what is going to benefit them the most in the future. I'm so done with that. There are days where I celebrate losing followers because of the fact that I knew I was true to myself that day. So I cannot give a fuck. Because for me, that's what I want to build. Overall, in my opinion, that will build me a group of people, and a bunch of people will support my stuff more than if I just had a bunch of people follow me and didn't even know who I was. So I felt like the stream was a good point for me to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna say what I want, but just like in Afterlife, doesn't make you happier. And it's not the way anybody should go about it. But yeah, and that is probably my main frustration, because that is one of the things why I was saying I was shaking on that live stream.
Yeah, of course.
I was actually shaking.
Yeah, you can see that.
I haven't been that angry in ever, I don't think. But not because I was just like, fucking Jack. Because I even said it on the stream. I was like, and there are so many people right now watching this who said they were going to fucking say stuff, tell their personal stories about the big evil JaackMaate. And this is the thing, because I don't believe half of them, because when these people say they're going to tell them or they're going to back me, do you hear them? No.
Tell them.
You don't ever hear them.
Tell them.
I have. I have gone and spoken to everybody, by the way.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm saying tell the story. So I'm not saying you tell them.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying to the people, tell the fucking stories about the big bad JaackMaate.
And that's for me also one of the reasons why I was annoyed, because and the reason why I know it's almost like suicide to even say that, because I'm literally saying, like, to my friends who spoke to me about certain stuff in private and people on here, I'm upset because I want to say that I'm pretty much upset with everybody, which doesn't put me in a very good position, because once again,
you're within your right to be upset.
But you know what I mean? It's like in the same way when it was the commentary community stuff, the original stuff, and I
Mm.
put myself in a 1 versus 50 man situation, you lose.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm so ready to accept losing everything again because of the fact that I am fed up with that being the norm in my friendship groups. Just nobody ever coming through on anything they ever say, and that's why the situation got so out of hand because of the fact that people don't see what it's like to be on the inside every day. So you, with the stuff of not even realizing what you're doing, obviously there are other people who are doing that anyway. So it all adds up. Like if Stevie came in earlier and asked me like, "Oh, how's it been over last week?" I was like, "This has happened. This has happened. This has happened."
Mm.
I was like, "It's fucking dumb. It never ends." And
Mm.
then I went, "But I can't even be angry that these three things have happened because this happens every week.
Mm.
So it's normal, and it's been normal for like a year."
Mm.
Which is so funny because when the video went up, I just went, "Oh, not another one." I was like, "It's happening again."
Yeah.
And that was the last thing I wanted.
But that's gonna happen, innit? Because when we criticize people every day, we're opening
Yeah,
ourselves up for
it is
criticism.
going to happen. But my main thing was like, not another friend
Right.
was where I was coming from because I'm all fine with people making videos on me. We've managed to gain like 4 just from the video and the debate.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you everybody for joining in. And do that. That's exactly what I would have done if I was a commentary channel. So I can't even. I'm not angry.
Oh,
at
I
that.
don't give a fuck.
No, I'm all for it. I promote
Yeah.
that behaviour.
Yeah.
Tag it, title it properly, thumbnails, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we're big enough now to get
Now,
views on our name.
Yeah, thank you for making videos on us.
Because that's what made me laugh as well when Alfie was like, they're using my name for views. It's like, maybe so, mate, but I think at the moment, and I hate this fucking argument, but he's the one that made it, we're more relevant than his group. Look at Marcus Butler.
Yeah, and it's a change.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
And it's a wave.
So if they want to make videos back.
Of course, do it. That's my point. YouTube, people take YouTube too seriously, and I don't care too much about it. Like I said, I'm not going to redo the points. I live my life. I go out. I fucking get drunk every weekend. I party with my mates. I go watch the football. I'll have a day where, and I apologise to the viewers for this because I'm not very committed to the cause, and I know you can be committed to my channel. But I've got to say, like, I could have a day where I'm like, right, I'm going to plan and do that video, and then someone goes, "Do you want to go do this?"
I'll do that.
I go, "Yeah."
It made it seem crazy, but I do that a lot as well.
Do it more.
Which is even though obviously I have a good upload schedule, well, that's because I will just ground myself for like fucking 48 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing that a lot more recently because I know I need to.
Yeah.
But also just to like swing back in on the everyday stuff because I think we've pretty much covered everything and talked about a lot of YouTube stuff. With Alfie, I've been speaking to about whether the possibility me and Fraser both have about the possibility of managing to get you to do something, and he definitely seems tempted. I think more for him, it's been so long since he has. Well, he's never really acknowledged it.
Yeah.
And for him, it's one of those things where it's almost like, do I want to do it now? And it would be great. I think it would be great whichever way it went because of the fact that it would be brilliant for YouTube anyway. I think everybody would love to see that. Nobody really wanted to see IMALLEXX and iNabber go and have a chat with Alfie Days. Like nobody really cared about that. The reason why people watched it is because they're like, why is Jack not on it? And I know that. And that's why I probably shouldn't have done it because I was trying to talk about something completely different, knowing that the YouTube viewer's opinion is more important than even what the actual video is.
Right.
Quite clearly, with your video and with the Alfie one, the YouTube viewer's opinion changed what the videos were meant to be. And I know that's how YouTube works. I'm not stupid. That's why I make the "we need to stop" videos the way they are because people will click on them assuming it's going to be something else, even though it's probably nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And I play on that. So
what I want to respond to that with is for the sake of not bottling it, which apparently I care so much about, I have always wanted to do a video with Alfie. And I kind of feel, and I would still do it now purely for the sake of people will say I'm bottling it. So I will sit in a room, but I can't help but feel that we won't find a common ground because our opinions are so contrasted. And I kind of, by making that video response, that half an hour one, that's why I left it such a long video. I never do long videos like that. I left it so long.
Videos, mate.
Yeah, that's true, mate. That is true. But I said everything I need to say then. That no stone has been left unturned. So I can't help but feel if I sit with Alfie, not only is it going to be hostile, which I'm all for, I don't care.
He'll slam the table.
Yeah.
Knock him out.
I can still hear the fucking reverberations of that fist hitting that table. But not only will it be hostile, but I will be regurgitating the same points that I've kept doing. He's within his right to sit with me and ask me questions, but why has he not done it already? I can't help but feel the ship has sailed. So he has been dodging the bullet for so long.
Because so Fraser was asking him, "Why don't you do something with Jack?" And I literally said, "Why would he?" Not in like because I want you to. And this was when I was on the podcast.
Mm.
I was like, "Why would he?" I was like, "This has been and gone, and for all intensive purposes, Jack won. Like you outlived them, and doing stuff more than they are at the moment."
I don't think it's winning
And
though. I think it's
but
if
in terms of the viewer's opinion, nobody really watches Alfie anymore. And a lot of people prefer to tune into the commentary channels now.
yeah, because
So
because
so
commentary
from
channels can be a bit more real. They know
so,
what they're going to get with
so
that.
I was literally like saying to in the group chat, I was like, it'd be great. I was like, but I just don't really know. I was like, what would that do now? I was like, apart from everybody could go, oh well, that thing happened.
Mm.
I was like, I feel like Jack said everything he could say, and although Alfie's not said anything, Alfie's gonna go on there and nobody's gonna budge. So, but I was like, if you guys can do it, that'd be great. And then obviously it came on to the fact that you had him blocked,
Yeah.
and that I get it because of the fact that obviously people tag him and stuff because you explained it to me.
Hmm.
But obviously at the time when Alfie showed me that, and then the video goes up and it's like Alex is a bottle job. From my perspective, everything that's going on, I'm just like, I felt almost like at that time I was being critiqued. To be honest, like by fraud.
Mm.
So I was like, because that's happened a lot in commentary, and a lot of people be like, I'm going to critique IMALLEXX this, and I go 2 videos back, and I go, you're doing it, you fucking idiot, you're fucking doing it, shut up.
Mm.
And I don't want to go out and pick it out because also I'm very hypocritical. I think it comes with being so opinionated on the internet.
Of course,
Your
yeah.
stuff will change all the
Yeah.
time. And after you explained it, I understand why you had him blocked, just because people wouldn't fucking stop tagging him and all your shit
Mm.
and stuff that isn't even about him. And then it gets to the point where, like, yeah, I've critiqued Alfie Days, but not everything is about Alfie Days, and I don't want it to be that way. In the same way that I have stuff like Cavos' name muted in my comment section
Yeah.
because I don't want every video to be like, fucking Cavos this, Cavos that.
I didn't know you could do that. You can like
Yeah,
you can block
I have
words.
names muted. I have so many names
I am
muted.
so muting beans.
There is, yeah, I can't blame you. But I have so many names muted, and I to the point where I don't even have my Twitter notifications on.
Yeah.
I only turned them back on recently. Because of the fact that I do want to try and get back more involved with the community. Because I think it's one of the reasons why I hate YouTube so much is because I have just locked myself in with just YouTube notifications on, so I
Yeah.
only see what YouTubers are saying.
Mm.
But I don't want that anymore. I want to read what normal people are saying. I don't want to be in this YouTube bubble anymore.
No.
I hate it. I want to go home actually for a bit and
Yeah.
just have like 2 weeks off.
I think you need to take a break in your channel.
I think
'cause
I
you
do.
work
Yeah,
hard.
it's been so long. So but, like when that happened with Alfie, and he's like, oh well, I would speak to Jack, but I've been blocked.
There's so many other ways you can contact me.
His response to that was just like, oh yeah, but he's like really mean. And I was like, and I went, oh yeah.
But we're not like in the playground anymore. Like, oh, I don't want to speak to him because he's mean. Like, we can, if he sat down with me, I'm not going to be going, you're a fucking cunt. I very rarely do that anyway.
It'd be funny
Like,
if you did.
like, I'm just going to counteract his points.
Fucking
Like,
sounds like
it's
it.
going to be a conversation like this, just a little bit less friendly. That's what it's going to
Yeah.
be because I've said
Maybe
what
we
I've
could
said.
get his name on here.
Oh fuck that, Jesus Christ! Or it'd have
Just
to be.
you could use Biro. You could FIE.
It would have to be. Oh, I can't even remember what the colour of the Tory party is.
It's blue.
Oh, I was going to say.
I
it.
vote for them, so I know. I don't.
Right, the last thing I want to speak to, just so we don't leave any stone unturned, is I want to just respond to some of the criticisms made about me in the live stream.
Go for it.
So
I don't even know which ones you think are valid because I can't remember most of it.
I complete the ones. Just spat everywhere. The ones I think are valid are the ones, or not so much valid, but the ones I can completely understand your point of view is why you would think that I was stabbing you in the back. I will hold my hands up and say that when I was about to make the video, I tweeted I was going to make the video, and then I said, "Shall we do it together?" And then I didn't speak to you anymore, and I didn't do it.
about that, yeah.
So that's a valid point.
Yeah, because originally I was going to come on and we were both going to talk about it, which
Yeah.
is ironically what we have done.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, so maybe Jack like doesn't like fucking hate me.
Yeah.
And then the video I just saw the tweet,
Yeah.
and Fraser was like, oh, Fraser literally came in, was like, oh, did you record it then? was like, I don't know, Fraser, but I haven't been to Norwich recently.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so no.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So there was that, and the reason why there's no, as I said, these are correct criticisms, so there's no argument against that. I think the only reason why it didn't happen is we just didn't message each other, and I was like, one day I have to be in the mood to film a video, so I was like, fuck it, I'm filming the video. I don't think that I criticised you too badly in that video, and the two things I did criticise you for, which didn't really need to be said, I took out of the video. So I want to talk about VidCon, then I want to talk about payments.
yeah, money. People, Keemstar love that.
Yeah, I know. Oh, fuck that cunt.
Fuck him.
But
We could both universally agree on that one.
he was kind of like trying to edge you on side a little bit.
I
knew
thought
he was
I
going
was so fucking weird. I, was like,
I
I don't like you.
yeah. I knew he was going to try and edge one of us, but I think because I bit first, he thought, right, Alex might be easier to persuade. He's a fucking
I
grown.
just reply with Thanos gifts.
So yeah, there's them two things, and then I believe that could be it. But so the VidCon thing. You said that
What a nightmare the con was.
it was a shit show. But you said that I let the fans down in order to go on holiday with my girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't know you went on holiday.
I thought that's what you said in
No,
the stream.
I didn't know. Fans tweeted me saying that you've been on holiday, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Right.
So should I take it from my perspective?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
so my thing is that we're meant to be doing a live show at VidCon. Meanwhile, I'll track back to how it all started with the happy hour stuff. So basically, Ricky Gervais podcast happens. You guys know all about that and how like I felt about that one.
Mm.
And then
Oh, sorry. Before we get to that, and again, I don't want to cut you off.
no, go for it.
We're backtracking quickly to all the stuff's happened. We're kind of like little slight annoyances from both sides. I said, "Are you going to leave?" You said, "I'm not too sure." Right?
And then I said we should call about it later.
Yeah, call about it later.
And then I went on then Fraser comes in the room, shows me the Twitter account, and the header was you, Ricky Gervais and Stevie, and he goes, "You look a bit older."
Yeah.
And I went, and I've had that happen to me before, where I'm sharing something with somebody, and then suddenly they just basically take control, which obviously wasn't where it was going. It was like, "Look, we got Ricky Gervais on,"
Yeah.
which obviously now I understand, but
Yeah.
at the time, obviously miffed with the whole Ricky Gervais situation.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy, so I, being a petulant child, unfollowed the account.
And then I took it out of your
And
bio.
took it out of my bio.
So I
because
saw
I
that.
was like, he's asked me to leave. I've gone on the account. Ricky Gervais is now me.
Got you.
And I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just do it then. And then I was like, all right, well hopefully we'll still have this call. Because in my mind I was like, we'll have the call, and I'll go, oh, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have done that, and we probably shouldn't just change the social medias without each other knowing. Communication again. And I'll go, all right, I'll refill it, put it back in the bio. We'll do another happy hour on Monday.
Yeah.
Then Fraser goes, oh, so you spoke to Jack then? And I went, well, what do you mean?
And I put the statement
And he
out.
was like, well, they tweeted out that you left.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, no, I can't. We can't fix it.
Yeah.
We can't suddenly go, oh, by the way, guys, no,
Yeah.
he's not left.
So what we're doing here is we're both being quite immature in the fact that we're trying to double guess each other's moves.
And trying to outdo
So
each
without
other.
actually speaking, I'm going, oh, he's removed me from his
we've
bio.
left, yeah.
So I'll put the statement out, and it's all come
It's
from
so
such
funny. It is funny.
from two people that quite rightly think that. And I think we're both quite intelligent lads, and we are quite articulate.
Quite clearly not.
We didn't deal with that very well, and that's
No.
our biggest issue. So that's happened. It's all a bit hit and miss. You feel like I've put that statement out with us, and yeah, I feel
And
like
also
you
in
were.
it said that they already had hosts prepared, and that's when I got the idea that I was like, oh no, this has been like planned.
Right. I think what it was is
You just already knew people.
I said, look, we'll just get semi-permanent people on and stuff like that, because Jordan comes on a lot now. But there is what I always wanted from this, and I think it's completely my fault this doesn't happen, is I wanted it to, and I will happily, Stevie will watch this, but I originally wanted it to be me and you. And then because you know people and I know people that are good, we bring in
That was our
semi-permanent
original plan,
jigsaws.
which is why I did think that some episodes I could have off when I was doing certain
course,
stuff, because
yeah.
I was like, we basically were like, when we had the first ever call about happy hour,
Yeah.
we were like, it's gonna be like rotatable.
Yeah,
That was kind of the thing about it, and
that
I was
makes
like,
complete sense.
and because it was gonna be more, I think what we wanted it to be would be more based on the guests, and than it was necessarily about us two.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted. That's why we wanted it to be different to everything else. Everything else is like two lads have a chat.
Yeah.
And I was already doing that,
Mm.
and I was like, we want it to try and be something a bit different to that, like when we have people on and we talk about YouTube stuff, and
Yeah.
we do stuff like that.
Because
So yeah,
I did feel it was our show was pretty much identical to Campcast, which he was
is
doing
and
first.
I think I think everybody on all sides was, even James was all, because James was worried, and that was also like an added pressure. So it was one of those things where there was a lot of issues kind of going on internally with everybody on all sides at that point, to the point where it was like everything was almost becoming conflicting, even when it wasn't originally meant to be, which
Y-
is kind of the theme for everything here.
yeah, exactly.
Everything became a conflict, even when it didn't have to
So I
be.
think we can both agree that although it's somewhat more in my case of pushing you, I felt that you'd already jumped and you felt like I'd already pushed you.
Yeah,
So
and I felt like I was already gone.
yeah,
I almost, when you sent the message in the chat for the because this was the second time, I felt like, oh, he's just going, can you just say you're gonna leave? Because that's just normally what people would do. They'd be like, just say it, just go.
right.
So yeah, that's how it was from my perspective
Yeah,
anyway.
that's fair enough.
And
So,
then we moved on from that to,
but we never really moved on because we didn't have the communication and stuff like
yeah,
that. So then the video comes out, and I'm very aware we're going over similar things now. So when the video comes out, the stream came out. The stream I thought was how I saw it was you call people out on the internet. I've made one slight criticism about you, and you fucking freaked out
lost my
and
lines,
try
yeah.
yeah, and I felt like you came with way more personal digs about me than I had about you. So I kind of it was again it's me and my mindset, and maybe I'm completely wrong. I'll be happy for you guys to let me know, but I kind of felt like right, I'm getting snake emojis again. This is similar because I actually feel like it's the other way around.
Obviously, because from my perspective, because of the fact that I've been told by loads of people, Jack said this, Jack's done this, Jack's done, I already felt like I had those personal digs being made at me.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, this is, and obviously, I knew when I did that as well.
Mm,
So one of the reasons why I held off so long
yeah.
is that nobody else is going to have seen the last 3 months, and because they're not me.
Mm,
So me doing this, it was a ballsy move in a sense where it was like I had to generally go up there and generally believe everything it said at the time, which I did.
yeah.
I did believe it.
Yeah.
Because I did believe all of it was true.
So shall we talk about
And then a VidCon was one of those things, because with VidCon, we might be doing a live show, and basically what happens is suddenly I'm no longer like on the podcast anymore, and we're like, oh well, do we still do it? And because I was still in the mindset of like, oh yeah, well we're still friends.
mm,
It's like it's just because everything clashes.
mm,
I was like, oh yeah, of course we'll still do it. And then, well, apparently VidCon was a shit show. Don't have to say apparently because I've been now. It was.
mm,
It was fucking terrible.
yeah.
They literally didn't even let me in.
Well,
So don't worry about it.
I
You
I
didn't
s-
really miss anything, Jack.
I I saw it as so you've left for one reason or another. We've got to do the live show. I felt like we announced it very very late because we were one of the last people to get announced. So I thought. And I still stand by this. I thought, right, I think when we had announced it, something like 88% of the tickets had already been sold. So I thought, no one really, no, there might be a few out there, for which I apologise, but it will be a very minute amount of people.
Worryingly,
that
it was a lot.
have bought.
And that's what surprised me as well, because I honestly was thinking we're going to do this live show to like 50 people again.
But when we tweeted out that we were going to be there at VidCon doing it, we didn't get hardly any replies, right? Hardly any. So that was a bit soul
But
destroying.
then like 100 people turned up outside
But
the
what I
event.
genuinely
And I was
believe,
like, oh no.
I'm not going to discredit them for any reason, but I genuinely believe they were already going and they saw us.
I think so, yeah.
And they were buzzing.
And people were hoping we'd be going anyway.
sure.
I'd like to believe. And if people did go purely because of sold tickets, then I was still there, so I'm not going to apologise. Hello, everybody.
You don't
I'm
need to.
brilliant.
No, you don't need to.
But like, no, but also, as you saw the way they treated me, literally, we got put in a group chat because you were like, all right, try and get Campcast on.
Mm. Well,
And
because let me just rewind quickly, because the reason why I didn't want to do the live show, because I think I owe it to the audience that wanted to come to see that, is we hadn't planned anything. We were so slack. That's been our problem. We were slack at communication. No one's fault
could
there.
you tell, guys? Could you tell with everything that's happened that
Yeah.
we weren't very good at
It was
talking
another
to
one
each
of
other?
them. So it got to like 3 days before. And I was like, I'm not going to do a live show with nothing's planned because it's going to be shit. And I know we can waffle on and improvise, and it probably would have been
We're
fine.
really fucking funny.
But I did not want to risk it. I did not fucking want to risk it. And I felt like we'd been roped in at the last minute. I felt like there hadn't been a lot of promotion. And I felt like VidCon hadn't organised it very
They
well.
barely even spoke to us.
They didn't even tell us what room we were
When
in.
you put me in the group chat with them to fix it, I got nothing.
Only Stevie only Stevie was the one who got his ticket sent. Only
He
Stevie.
literally offered it to me on the day.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to go in? And I went, out of principle, no.
Yeah.
Because they need to know that you can't do this to people.
Right. Well, because I felt like you were somewhat in the wrong to be not upset, but I didn't feel like you ever had a ticket. I felt like we had a collective ticket. So turning up, it was going to be hard for you to get in anyway. But given who you are and what you can offer to the convention, they should have let you in on them
Well,
grounds.
I spoke to him. I spoke to the VidCon guy who was sorting our stuff out.
Mm.
Literally like 2 days before we were
And
going.
he never fucking replies either.
Because
Yeah.
you put me in a group chat with him, and
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, come on. He was like, come on, come anyway.
Oh, there you go. Didn't know that.
Yeah, he was just
Right.
like, yeah, come anyway.
Yeah.
And then Josh Peters,
Yeah.
our mutual friend of Alfie Days,
Mm.
Josh called the guy when I was standing outside and was literally went and found him and went, he stood outside the front gates. Go get him. Let him in. And he went, yeah, Josh, I'll do that. Didn't come and get me.
Didn't bother. Well, that's shoddy on their behalf. So
It's just a security risk as well.
yeah.
I don't know what they were doing.
So yeah,
And my tweets, they definitely saw him.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, it was quite a storm. So I felt like we've been announced late. There's only a small percentage of people online that seem to care. I already imagine that they had tickets because, I mean, the event's in 4 days. So if you're leaving it 4 days to get a fucking ticket, that's bizarre. So I thought, right, I'm not going to go and do a subpar show. I know people will come and watch, but I feel like we need to offer them more than that. Not your fault either. So I thought, right, I'm not going to go. And I announced I'm not going to go 4 or 5 days before. Again, I don't know the dates. People can happily check them out online. That's not specific to that.
I mean, people tweet me being like, you didn't, and I don't remember. So I don't know why you wouldn't say you weren't going, because for me, so from my perspective,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen those tweets. To
Right.
be honest, I just, as you know, I try and avoid social media because
Yeah.
it makes me feel terrible.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was on the happy hour or what it was on.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Might have been on
I think we
Insta.
did say we won't be doing the live show.
Yeah.
I definitely tweeted saying we won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because I was like panicking, being like,
Yeah. Maybe I responded to that or something.
I was like panicking, like, I don't want people to turn up thinking we're going to still be there, because I was so annoyed at VidCon when they wouldn't let us do the Campcaster live to replace it. I was like, come on, guys. Like, I was like, the podcast, they were basically on equal grounds at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a straight swap.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's why I put you. So I didn't think going back to that quickly. I didn't think I was letting anyone down by not going, because I'd already prior announced it. So I knew there was no one. There shouldn't have been anyone turning up and going, "Where the fuck is he?" Because I've not let anyone down. I've already told you 4 days. I'm not coming. It's not like your friend that you told me before didn't turn up to the meet and greet on the day. And this is where I'm completely honest, to the point where I'll shoot myself in the foot. And Fiona will vouch for this. And I may have told you before. 2 years ago at Summer in the City, the first day, and some of the people that met me there will remember this, I went out in Norwich the night before and I threw up on the train on the way to Summer in the City because I was just hungover. And I got in the taxi and I said to Fiona, I'm not going. And she was like, you're fucking joking. Like, people have bought tickets to see you. And I was so selfish. I went, nah, I'm not fucking going. I'm going to the hotel room. She forced me to go. And everyone that met me, I was like, oh, sorry, I'm so hungover. So
there you go.
Yeah.
You're still feeling consequences.
Yeah. So I felt I would have definitely let them down. I was so glad I didn't do that. That's why last year at Summer in the City, obviously, I stood outside for so long taking photos. I feel like I owe it to people now. So I wouldn't let anyone down on them grounds. So when I saw you said about the VidCon thing, I wasn't angry. I was just laughing it off because that doesn't make any sense. And then going back to the thing you were then alluding to with the Campcast, when the guy... When we said, oh, I don't want to do it, I know you wanted to do it more than we did. And fair play to you, you're a workhorse. I put you in the group chat with him. I said, there you go, guys, meet each other, sort it out. And I left the group chat. I didn't think of anything. I thought, right, I've done my bit. And then he didn't fucking reply to you.
Yeah, can we just say fuck VidCon?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys, like, they didn't help. But when I got there, the reason why I was under the impression of that is because everybody was turning up was just like, where's Jack? Where's Jack? Bought tickets to see Jack. And I literally, when I was there, was like, I don't know what Jack's doing at the moment. I was like, I think they might be doing. I can't remember what day it was.
I went to Bristol with Fiona. It was our anniversary.
I didn't know what was going on, so I was literally just like, tweet him and maybe we'll turn up. Which is the same thing I said about my previous friend because I don't want to be there and be like, oh well, you know, he hates you.
Yeah. Also, I've just now remembered. Fuck. I think it was like 2 days or 3 days, probably around the time I said I'm not going to go anymore. All three of us, right, were supposed to get +1s. Yeah, that's a lie. me and Stevie got +1s, and then I asked James DM'd me, right, and asked for a +1. I've gone straight to the guy, right, asked him. He said that's it, right. So I didn't want to now say that to James because I thought he's going to think I'm lying. So I just said, probably not going to be able to get one, not even going to ask, right. And then 2 days before, they messaged me and told me that Fiona couldn't even have green room. So I've got
Oh,
to go
fucking
there.
brilliant.
I've got to go there with my partner who helps me out big time at
And leave her
and leave her while
No.
we go and sit in another room. Fuck that. So I was kind of like, no, I'm not doing it based on those grounds. So there's that. Anyway, that's
Yeah,
VidCon.
which is understandable. Yeah, and honestly, when they didn't let me in, I probably should have left. But
You've done your part
I
still.
wanted to, I wanted to make out to people saying it's fucking really cold out there. So fuck you, VidCon.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
And then finally, unless there's anything else you want to add, which of course you can,
I
but
think that's it with VidCon.
yeah, fair. VidCon's done. I think the money thing, the money situation, I hadn't paid you for any happy hour work, and I still haven't to this day.
Which I didn't like saying because I'm not.
You're not
really,
about
I'm really
money.
not about the money. I said that. I said it to George.
Mm,
I was like, I'm not upset about because that's what everybody picked on that,
yeah,
which I found really weird.
yeah,
That was the thing that people took to the most. And that was one of the last things I said, as almost just like and these are the reasons why I'm all upset. Because for me it really was low down, but obviously will be the one that because money is important to
yeah,
people, and I get that.
yeah,
But for me, with the money thing, it wasn't like, oh no, that X amount of money I didn't get paid for my time,
mm,
which is something that everybody else who I spoke to made that the forefront of it.
mm,
My whole thing was like, my friend and me aren't getting on. That was always what I would always say to people, and everybody go, oh yeah, but the money.
mm,
And I go, did you fucking listen to me? It's quite clearly where my head's at. Like,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck about the money. I really don't. I don't even cash in brand deals after I do them half the time. It's too much effort exchanging emails. I don't care. I
right,
really am not bothered. But it was principle for me at that point because I was just like, well, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that, and and then I left and I thought maybe I get paid out of like because of the fact because I'm like at this point I'm erratic.
yeah,
I'm like I had never got paid because of the fact that maybe just can't be bothered.
yeah,
And then I was like, because the whole thing for us was like I didn't want to turn up anymore.
yeah.
So for me, it was just a point for me that I don't want to hang out too much because it's not for me. It's not a big
No,
deal.
but I just think I owe it to the people out there that think I didn't pay you. This is exactly what happened, and I said this to you on the phone.
We don't get
Uh,
paid much. We never got paid much for doing this. I do want to say that, by
Yeah,
the way.
so-
And it does really well. But this is one of the reasons why you thought I would leave because of the fact that the Campcast makes X amount more,
Yeah.
which is worrying because
Yeah.
it gets like half the views.
Well, what people don't understand, and I'm sure there's a way to prove this with emails or whatever. There's a ways to prove everything I've said in this podcast. But I don't want to get to that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go.
We don't wanna
Here's
get
the
to the point,
fucking
here's the
email.
fucking emails,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Hillary Clinton or
But if you
something.
ask for it, I can provide it. But so with the I just got what you said.
Yeah.
But with the
Leak
payment,
them.
as I said to you on the phone, this is purely 100. People go, it's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Yes, it is. This is purely a coincidence. We were trying to get the Happy Hour channel monetized since we started, right?
We literally, I would email Google like every week.
You did,
And they
yeah.
go, oh,
You did a few times, yeah.
and we're like, we don't know what we could do about it. I don't know, put ads on it.
There was, and the dates will correlate. The channel became monetized 4 days after you left, right? So
That's
therefore,
so fucking
right,
funny.
and that is purely. If I was going to fucking lie, I'd say a month after. It was 4 days after, right? So the first thing I want to say is it was a guy called
Fuck Google.
Andy Castell, who's a FIFA YouTuber. I'm not sure if I got.
Oh,
his,
AJ Free
yeah,
FIFA, yes.
yeah. Like you can ask him, right, and you can ask him for the dates. He was the one that sorted it. Because he was like, I know a guy, I'm going to email him. So I emailed
What
him.
are they fucking doing with mine?
And he replied, and the channel got monetized. And then from that moment on, all of the content, and bear in mind the content that's on is clearly still going to get views, of course. But I feel like all the content, the main bulk of the CPMs now is and the revenue is
We
going to come.
literally didn't earn anything from those.
Yeah, it's going to come from. We hadn't earned anything, and I felt like you're being because you remember at the start I used to post Happy Hour on my main channel, so I felt like I'm almost putting you on my channel, giving you free promotion like that, right? So I thought at the
For
start,
me, it wasn't the revenue. I think you owed me like £100 in cash.
Yeah.
It was that little.
yeah,
It was literally £100 in cash.
I
and
owed you
we-
£100
And we didn't hand it to each other because of miscommunication again. And I wasn't chasing up because I don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
money. But also, at that point, I didn't give a fuck about the money because I didn't think I was leaving.
right,
I was like, I'll probably be doing this. And then maybe at the end of the year when we've made good money, I'll go, all right, let's go on holiday or something.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even ask for it. I'd been like, I would have been more happy to be like, I will buy new microphones.
Yeah.
Like, I was, but at that point when people were like, because people are like, oh, well, you never said why you left happy hour, and because I didn't, because I didn't know what to say at that point. Because
Yeah.
honestly, I had
I don't
like
think anyone really knew.
I had no fucking clue what to say. So I was just like, these are all the reasons why I'm upset. Do with that what you will,
Mm.
and you guys could do what you want with it. So like, you don't think that you're missing any part of the story.
No.
Because I think for me at that point, and I think it's almost one of the issues with the YouTube thing is like when you want to be one of the honest people,
Mm-hmm.
there's such a thing as being too honest, and that was a step probably above what I needed to do to prove my points
Right.
of why I was upset.
But yeah, so I get that, and I completely understand where you're coming from, and all I can do now is, because that's what a lot of tweets I get now. And again, as much as I'm not
Where's the 100 quid?
too fast, I just want to address those
Well,
tweets.
you know, you take
So
me out for a nice meal.
I said, yeah, I didn't really want you to lose money by doing this. So now, and Stevie will tell you, he gets a small percentage, and it is only a small percentage.
He
Like,
doesn't do anything.
well, I think
Where is
I
he?
figure if I'm going to justify my small payments to him, it's because I pay an editor, I pay everyone's travel.
I mean, you used to have a cameraman.
Yeah, exactly. So I pay a lot out, and but not many people know this as well. But the earnings, the reason why the earnings are low on here is because we're with an audio network, right? Who
That's
host
why we
it.
have the studio, which
Yeah.
is paid for.
Well, no, but above that though, right? Because there's an audio host where you host it to put it on iTunes. They take 40% of our earnings.
Fuck me.
Right? So we're left with 60, right? And then the network, and props to these guys, like these are the guys that make this happen, right? This is why I'm completely happy with this, and I'm not slagging off anyone in this circle. This is how business
Everybody
works.
in the network is brilliant.
Yeah, they take 50%, right? Because I said to him at the start, that seems like a lot, but they're giving me the network. They're giving me the network. They upload it. They the audio. There's
We
a
get to burn alive in here.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
I get the studio. I get the cameras, which are expensive setup. I've got no problem giving them that.
Cool
So,
TV.
it's all going on. Laura produces it. It's all good. So, and they offer us a lot of help, and they pay for the mic covers. It's great. So
And
if
it
you-
wouldn't run as smoothly without them, just straight up.
it definitely wouldn't. So think about it. From the audio, the hosts, 40%'s gone. That leaves us with 60% that we divide down the middle. So I earn 30% of the earnings of the podcast, which then I split out. I should have retrospectively paid you for what you've done, because I want to say now, you are an integral part of why this podcast was successful. You were great at what you did.
And that's why I'm still on the microphone.
Yeah, you like I said to you though, like I didn't want it to go sour, because you're welcome back every time. I wanted you to be like a semi-permanent
You asked
host.
me to bring on because to come back on things afterwards, and yeah, and I was all for it. It's really fucking sucks the way it's gone. Although one thing I will say, which is the one thing I want people to take away from this, is that I'm so glad that this time I got to actually talk it out.
Yeah,
Whereas the last time this happened,
Mm.
the person never responded to me again.
right.
They literally, I didn't even know we'd fallen out. 'Cause
Right.
They didn't even speak to me.
Yeah.
It was literally somebody went, "Do you know so and so doesn't like you anymore?" I
Mm.
went, "What? No, we spoke last week." Messaged them. It's been 2 years now.
And
Won't even reply.
that-
That's YouTube crazy.
that's
that is.
mental.
That's YouTube fuckery. That is, and that's why situations like that. One of the things that I think that I'm happy with doing this as well is that you know I haven't really spoken about how I am with YouTube, because I think it's quite obvious a lot of the time that I am almost like continually pissed off.
Mm.
That's one of the things I liked about Happy Hours. It was a happy hour.
Mm.
I even on the Campcast, there are glimpses where I just get really angry when certain stuff gets brought up, because I just can't help myself because
Yeah.
of don't really get to talk about. Whereas on here, it was always a really fun and chill show. So it really fucking, one of the reasons why it went the way it did is because it really fucking sucked when I wasn't on this anymore. I fucking loved every fucking minute. Even the cranberry pizzas, I loved all of it. It was great fun.
I enjoyed it.
We had this is probably one of the best times I've ever had making anything consistently on YouTube. I never had a bad day in the studio.
And that's I'm overjoyed that you said that, and I don't want you to ignore what people around you are saying, because the fact that we've come here and had an honest chat where no one's banging on the table and interrupting people, that proves that we're on the same wavelength. Our communication was the big issue here. Ignore what people are saying, because as I was saying, integral part of the podcast, genuinely funny, genuinely a nice person, intelligent. I like your videos. I've never had anything you've never done anything to me. When we've done the live show, you were great. You were making the room laugh. We worked well. We've gone our separate ways. I thought we went our separate ways civilly, but it didn't need to happen. And I was gutted. And I've even said to Stevie, I was gutted with how it happened. And I was gutted by the fact it did happen. I was almost somewhat, a little bit in my own mind, jealous of the Campcast because I thought you prioritized that and you wanted that. I'm only speaking to you now. I'm realizing you wanted to do both. And I didn't realize how much you enjoyed this.
The only reason why the Campcast came across that way is because of the fact that obviously with James being at uni, I do. I mean, he'd tell you first that I do everything.
Mm.
And I don't think people realise that when it comes to the Campcast. Like,
No.
I paid for the cameras,
Yeah.
I paid for the microphone, I set up the Patreon, I did the YouTube channel, I did the designs,
Mm.
I edit the fucking thing every week, I set it up every time. That takes half an hour to do it. I am, you know, the studio team we've got here. I am all of them
Yeah.
as one person, and James sits there and talks for an hour.
Yeah.
And he would love to do more.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that was frustrating me because I literally said to you when I came on here, I was like, if I just get to turn up and talk, that's one of the reasons why I love doing this, because for the first time, I think, in a long time, I was not in control, whereas normally I am always the guy,
Yeah.
the main one. I'm the man who knows how to set up the camera. I'm the man who knows which microphones everybody should have. Whereas with this one, I used to just come up and be like, all right, what the fuck are we talking about today then?
And that was a nice release.
And I think the issue is that would come across almost for the first time ever, which is why it's so funny how all this stuff has come out. Is it comes across like I don't care, because at first I was like, all right, here's all the topics, here's everything, but then I stopped doing that because the Campcast was, and I will say this because it still does, it drives me insane. I was like, fuck it, like Jack can do it, and then I'll just come on and chat. And obviously at a certain point that does look like I don't care, and really that it was like almost therapeutic for me. I was like, I'd come on and I would be very relaxed with it.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. You did, because all the things that you're saying you do. Although I don't have to set up these cameras, and Laura uploads
You have to come
the
in
show.
from Norwich.
Yeah, I travel in from Norwich,
and then you would edit it and post it on YouTube, and you would do the highlights. So you were doing every, and I never offered help with that because
that's fine,
I
though.
would have killed myself.
That's fine because you weren't getting paid. So when I was uploading this to my main channel, I was making money. So I was paying Stevie's travel. I was getting lunch for everyone that came. I have to watch like the hour and a half back or however long it is, edit it with Jordan. Thankfully I've got Jordan now, but I still help him with the edits and stuff. So I felt like I was doing a lot, and then it's not your fault, I can say that, but yeah, you do start thinking, oh, other people aren't pulling their weight. You shouldn't have done anyway. You weren't getting paid. So all I want to say to finish on is if you want payment retrospectively, I can happily do that.
It's fine.
It's not a problem. I don't want people to think that I'm a tight cunt. But there we go. I think we've not left a stone unturned.
I think everything has been answered there, and I hope people appreciate the fact that we've managed to do this.
I've enjoyed it, and one thing that people,
I have no regrets.
No, 100%, and people jump on the bottling it comment. I think it does show a lot of your character that you actually was sat at the table with Alfie. He had full edit with it, and this Alex is a guy that has called me out on the stream. I know I've done things to you, but what I want to say is he's called me out quite aggressively in a fit of rage. But so I've invited you on. You've turned up. You've turned up on your own. You've sat here. So I think
I will never say no.
So
I will say, and this is the one thing, is that when I got the bottling comments, I get it, because I didn't go on there and
you're
be
not
like,
a bottler though.
but I didn't go on there and be like, Alfie Days, here's all the criticisms, which is what you're meant to do when you go on there. In the same way that when people talk about it, people see when Brian went on with Alfie Days as a bottler, or when you did the one with Josh Peters, what people don't understand is, do you know how many YouTubers get asked to do those things and every time say no?
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've gone to a convention and my friends won't let me go into a certain area because they're scared they're going to meet somebody they don't like? I've never, ever, and I want it is clear, I've never turned down the opportunity of meeting anyone, and I never will if they fucking take the opportunities that I've given them to do it.
Yeah.
I'm always open. I always want to speak to people. And yes, I probably could have portrayed myself better on the Alfie Days podcast, and that is very understandable. And I wish I had done a better job, not only because of the fact that I could have represented myself better, but also I feel like it would have achieved more of what Alfie was also trying to go for as well. So I don't even mean it in a negative way towards Alfie.
You're not a bottler. You're not a bottler.
It's just one of those things. We know. I mean, I don't want to fucking name anybody, obviously, but I know YouTubers who, I mean, even come up to this situation, who bottled it when
of course.
and that's one of those things where, for me, the one thing I don't ever want to be known for is somebody who isn't willing to get stuck in, because that would go against what I've managed to make a living off.
Yeah.
And that for me is the one thing that you can't put on me and you in that area, is that we do these things and we are open. So if anybody fucking wants to do these in the future, people made videos on anything, even Alfie and you, I would love to see that stuff happen, and I'm always down. I never shy away from an opportunity
No.
to do it.
I think you've handled yourself well. I don't think you're a bottler. I don't think I'm a snake. And yeah, I just want to say thanks for coming on.
No problem, mate.
You genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, are a mate of mine, and you are welcome on here whenever you want.
Let's get a cranberry pizza.
Are you friends?
Yes, boss.
Sweet. There you go. Cheers, Alex.
We're so sweaty.
Yeah, I know.